We're good. All right, so roll call. I think we got everybody here. Awesome. Except I do not see Mr. Barrowmall. I know. Was your computer still restarting? I know you're doing updates. It broke up. Say again. You're really far away. Or at least it sounds far away. I'm not going to tell you where you are. Unless you want to roll for initiative. Let's do this. Ah! Okay, well, if you can hear us, then you will know what's going on. So I'll just go ahead and get started. Zedek, you can go ahead, and once you're finished with that piece, just hit me up if you have any questions. Does that work? And then whatever you decide to choose, I'll just that'll be good. So, all right. Well, welcome everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good week. I know it's Friday, a different day for our usual thing, but I hope everybody's ready to rock and roll. So here we go. Let's bring it down. If you must blink, do it now. Pay careful attention to everything you see and hear, no matter how unusual it may seem, and please be warned if you fidget, if you look away, if you forget any part of what I tell you, even for an instant, then, let's see, Clandon will surely perish today. Is everyone sitting comfortably? Please attend carefully as we begin. Alright, so last time on... There's your pause, you can say it if you'd like. There it is, okay. If you guys remember, last time on Pokemon, everybody was in the out here in the forest. Previously, you guys were going in search of the old owl well, which was referred to by a lot of the different people in the town, simply for some weird things going on over there. We have a few different things that were... Turn that down a little bit. You had a few different encounters along the way. Some hobgoblins that seem to have been out looking for your band specifically. And upon defeating them, as well as challenging them to a one-on-one combat in a battle of honor, they ended up losing and were sent to turn tail and return to their pack of hobgoblins. And for you guys continued wandering forward, and you did find that there was a very colorful tent pitched outside of a very large tower, a very large ruined tower. And upon inspection, by firing a crossbow bolt into the guy's tent, you guys met a new a gentleman that was dressed in red robes. He had his head shaved. He had a very odd tattoo on his forehead that you guys recall being a red wizard of Thay. And upon speaking with him, you found that he was here doing very important work, and that he was very adamant that people would not interrupt or mess with what he was trying to accomplish. And upon even closer inspection, you found that the place was crawling with zombies and undead, and that this gentleman was actually a necromancer. So upon dispatching his entire workforce, you came back... knocked him out in his tent, robbed him of everything he owned, and upon awaking, very distraught at the situation, he offered some way for you guys to work together. In other words, to try and make sure that this tower and the treasures within don't become lost to history. In other words, he also spoke of some orcs in the south, near a place called Wyvern Tor, that were causing him trouble. But in the meantime, they were kind of just doing their thing. But you guys had at the time decided to make camp on the ridge. He had asked you a few questions about if you knew of a Banshee in the area. That lived near Coneyberry, a town that was long since ruined. What's that? So he spoke. He was trying to find out the name of the wizard that made this tower, and there's a very powerful Banshee that you guys have a choice you can make at that point, so you guys can choose where you want to go. But you guys were culminating near a fire at the time. It was dusk. You guys made camp for the night, and if you guys wanted to do anything, you did have a long rest, but if you guys wanted to do anything during that time, you guys are welcome to do that now. So that's up to you guys. Do you guys want? I guess between you, you guys can. Again, that's just for everybody that wasn't here or was here. Just for clarity, you had the two different things that you guys, or three things. You first came out here knowing that there was trouble at the old Owl Well. You're going to investigate it. You also had heard from Sildar Hallwinter and some others about the orcs that were giving trouble about people on this highway that they were on. He wasn't sure where they were coming from, but they were also causing trouble. And then from this necromancer, he's invited you to try and make amends by getting this information for him. I didn't catch that. Tower. All right, let's see. So at this point, you guys, did everybody hear okay? Becky, you can hear? Okay, cool. So, what are you guys gonna do? Get back here, Ellie. Can't leave the party. It's dangerous out there. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally cool. So, leaving the town of Phandalin, you guys remember Sildar Hallwinter had spoken of two different of the orcs on the highway that you guys are working on, or that were traveling on just now. It's called the Tribor Trail. That's one of the things that he asked for you guys to go investigate, in addition to finding Gundren Rockseeker. But at the time, you guys haven't quite found information on Cragmaw Castle, where he is said to have been being held. Upon investigating after going to the Miners' Exchange, you guys heard of some different things going on at some weird things going on at the old Allowell. So you guys came to investigate that. And upon talking to him, he's asking you. He mentioned that there's some orcs to the south in Wyvern Tor that are that have been causing him a lot of trouble in this area, as well as needing information from the Banshee about the wizard who built this tower. Those were the kind of current arcs that you guys were aware of. Sí, señor. Sí, señor.
Do we need to lay out any sort of watch tonight, guys? Do you think now that we're all full of our rations, do we need to do any watches, or should we just all camp and hope that the Red Wizard doesn't kill us?
We've never had to do watches before. I don't know.
Up to you guys. The DM's always rolling. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just knock him out for the night.
There's usually always someone that stays awake during that 8-hour course. We rotate through.
And remember, those of you who are of Elven descent only have to do it for 4 hours. You trans. Everyone else, it's 8 hours. Sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff. Hi, Galili. Okay, so you'll take first watch. Who's taking second watch?
I can take second watch.
Okay, we got the second watch. And does anyone want to do a third watch? Or are you guys gonna just kind of try and do it between the two of you?
I should be able to take third watch, kind of the early morning one, just while everybody's waking up.
We only need 4 hours, the both of us.
Okay. Perfect.
So that would add up correctly, right?
All right, I'll sleep.
Okay. All right. So you guys go ahead. You sleep for the night without incident. So you guys waken in the morning. You feel the cool breeze wafting on the wind, the nice smell of undead flesh decaying from the south, the dewdrops still on the flowers and trees and bushes, just lightly waking up. It's probably about 8 or 9 in the morning. Are you guys going to forage, or do you want to use rations or food? Okay. So we have rations. So everybody, I believe you have in your inventory, you should have an adventurer's pack of some kind that usually includes about 7 rations. Go ahead and mark down that you've used one of them. Okay. So those of you who are foraging, go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Apparently, I only have 2 rations. Wonderful.
This will be fun. He's gonna try and eat the dragonborn while he's sleeping. So everybody's foraging. You get that. You got the survival check. Okay. All right. So Aurora, it takes you a little bit longer. It probably about 45 minutes to find all the food that you need. Balasar takes you about 25 minutes. You are able to get enough to sate your hunger. But yeah, it's mostly as you're finding this area. There's a lot of blackberries, just different, wild fruit. Some of them aren't in season quite. And this particular area, the further south you get, it gets more and more barren. But you were able to find something for this morning's meal, so no points of exhaustion. All right, so you guys want to head south? Is that correct?
Is it ogres or orcs?
Orcs.
Yes, that one. Thank you. So we have 2 days of ration.
You what? Correct. So it's 1 ration.
All day?
You'll have to wait another hour.
Yeah.
I have to pray to my god this morning. Sorry.
You and your false gods. I'm gonna go search these trees for my father.
I could show you. If you want.
Okay, Clandon, go ahead and do investigation check for me.
At 20.
He's there. I found him.
He's always watching you. You've got this. You've got this, like, every time you turn around and you walk past a tree, you kind of do that pause in, like, those cheesy movies where you're like, he's going to be around this tree, and you look around and nobody's there.
And then somebody scares you from behind and goes,
And as a reminder, you do remember that that someone had seen him a 10-day ago, or someone who matched that description.
Yeah. In the town, right?
Correct. Okay, so everybody, as you're moving out, I'm getting all this stuff off the background layer here. It's getting dumb. You guys continue south. Ooh, give me your marching orders where everybody's, once you're done praying. Another hour goes by. It's now probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Sun's starting to get higher.
Actually, I'm pretty ready to go, pretty impatient, so I'm definitely up front. Like, let's go.
Okay. Okay. So you've got the 2 scouts in front. Who's taking mid guard and who's taking rear guard? Okay.
I'll be like probably in the middle, but
Yep, you're gonna be heading south. Okay, so as you guys are continuing your adventure, get everybody in their proper locations. Everybody in the those who are in the front, is everybody staying very close together? Or are you guys going ahead? How are you approaching your? Okay, you guys go ahead and you scout ahead. Aurora and Clandon, go ahead. Oops. Go ahead and make a. Go ahead and make a. How are you searching for anything specific or? Okay, so go ahead and both of you roll a survival check. Because you're going to be looking for like broken twigs, branches, doing ranger things. Okay. Aurora, looking around. You can also, if you'd like, I would also allow Tiger Lily to investigate since she's with you, right? So you can roll 2. Which you said you have her character or her sheet, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and just roll for her. That would be is it wisdom? I think. Is that what survival is?
Yeah, it's wisdom.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that and add her wisdom modifier. And then I think she gets advantage on tracking, doesn't she, or like smell type stuff? Yeah, so go ahead and roll it twice and take the larger of the two and then add your wisdom modifier. And then Dora Morlem, you're out searching as well?
Yeah, just kind of being, they're kind of up.
Okay. So like you're just trying to scavenge around.
Kind of marching along, just looking around casually, more or less. I'm not looking like intently at the ground.
Okay. So Clandon, when you're walking around, you're not seeing any visible signs. You're not seeing any of the usual telltale signs that you would see of lots of creatures moving through the forest. You're not seeing a lot of broken branches. You're not seeing any like trampled foliage, or the forest and fauna in this area seem to be pretty intact. And Dora Morlem, as you're searching around, you're noticing that. As far as what you can see in the forest, there's not like anything that's would just say, hey, there's a bunch of orcs in the area, but you are seeing small trinkets, because the way that they're looking is maybe possibly closer, either on the outskirts of the road, or they're maybe just missing some stuff. You are seeing small signs as the further south you get of not necessarily a band of orcs moving that area, but you imagine that possibly a scout or somebody who is moving around very carefully in this area.
I would like to kind of briskly walk up to the lead party here.
Okay. And I'm just using these for ignore the foliage in the area. I'm using them as markers for who's where. So.
Okay. I will politely talk to Aurora.
Okay.
And let her know, hey, Aurora, noticing that there might be a scout spying on us somewhere around here. You might want to take your panther out a little bit and see what your panther can smell.
Alright, thank you.
Okay. Everybody else, including the forward guard, go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
All of us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right?
I am not.
It's okay. It's solid black. Okay, so everybody, yeah, as far as the people in the rear, you don't hear anything. There's a couple of you kind of tromping along. Vinfina, you're walking for someone who's in like heavier armor. As a paladin, you're walking very gingerly, and not kind of messing with the rocks too much. Occasionally, you guys see in the distance like a plume of dirt or something where there's maybe like a knoll or a hill where it's very dirt. It's a lot of dirt and rocks and things, not a lot of like grass and foliage. where Aurora slid down just a little bit. She catches herself, no big deal. But you guys don't see anything or hear anything in the immediate vicinity. But you, again, you continue to move south. As you continue southwards, let's see, where are you guys at? Clarendon. Okay. So as you guys are you're moving southwards, and so as you guys are seeing, you're trying to see basically where these orcs or what have you that people have said are in the south are taking up camp, if you will. So you see a cave as you guys are going south. You see a cave on the side of a mountain. This area, again, as the further south you get, the more like the red rocks in Colorado. It gets more like kind of rocky, more dusty. There's less foliage. It becomes kind of more an arid kind of climate. But you do see to the south of you that there's a mouth to a cave.
More of a flat land, or
It's rolling hills and a lot of like it very much like southern Utah, if that makes sense. Like Moab, you've got some mountains, but there's a lot of other places that are very cool rock formations and kind of a dusty Moab type area. You guys do see that there's a cave. For those of you who are in the forward positions, let's say Clarendon and Aurora, to give me another stealth or a stealth check and a survival check for me, please. Okay, 18. Clarendon. Why'd you roll it again? So Aurora's. I know, that's okay. That's okay. So, you guys definitely, both of you recognize that there are footprints coming in and out of this cave. And as you're looking and you're trying to see what's kind of going on there, you hear, Aurora as she's kind of climbing up on the side of this little kind of rock outcropping. You just hear this large, almost like somebody dumped a bag of gravel down the wall, down this hillside. So you hear the as the rocks kind of fall down and tumble. A little bit of dust starts raising in the air, and you hear a sniffing sound. We'll go to there. And you hear this guttural language that you don't quite understand. But you see, Clarendon sees that there's this orc standing in the doorway. As for Aurora, as you're standing over there, he is looking in your direction, but he does not seem to see Clarendon from where he's standing. The rest of the party at this point is not aware of this as of yet, but you two, Aurora and Clarendon, can see him. Yeah. Oh, hold on. My marker's being dumb. I'll give you some visual cues if it'll stop being dumb. It pretty much is, I guarantee it. Right here, as you guys are coming up, you can think of these as like shelves. So you're kind of hiking uphill, if that makes sense. Yeah, an elevation chart. So this is like a topography. So you've got your mountain up here. And for those of you that are coming up, where Zedek's standing and where Roland and everyone else is, that's about Balasar's eye level where Clarendon's standing. Does that make sense? So you're looking a little bit uphill. You can see Clarendon, but it's probably the rocks block about his waist down. If that makes sense. Aurora's a little bit slid down, but both of you can see in plain sight this orc. Yes, you can see his feet. That is correct. Put a little bit more lines in there for you so you can kind of see the topology. So, at that point, this orc grunts loudly, and he's going to go ahead and you just hear this, and you look over and you see a couple more orcs coming out, and they look like they are making a beeline for Aurora. Clarendon, you have found Solace in the only tree you can find there. How's that for convenience? Daddy, is that you? Not yet. Not yet, anyway.
I sent you a message, Preston.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, for that, D20. Okay. And then I'll let you know if there's on the other ones. But for that one, it'll be just D20. So this one, as you guys see, as you guys are looking ahead, you do see a bunch of orcs coming out. They don't seem to be in any kind of fashion, but you do see one orc that stands out in particular. You get this faint smell of smoke. As for the guys in the back, this is what you're perceiving as you're approaching. You get this faint smell of smoke hanging in the air as you ascend a rugged ridge on the lower slopes of the hill. The people who are in the front, Clandon and Aurora, see that there's a cave mouth opening in the bottom of the ravine, and hunkered down by a boulder 20 yards outside the cave, there's a single orc. So that orc is the one that's kind of coming at you. And from the other guy that comes out, you see these kind of, I mean, orcs are pretty. Did you guys see that image when it popped up? Okay, so that image, they're pretty filthy. They're not very well organized. They're kind of brutish in appearance. They stink, and I don't know what you're talking about. So from this point of view, you guys see as these guys walk out, and at this point they start drawing their weapons, walking towards Aurora. Sure, I'll allow that. And then at this point, I'm going to need Clandon, Aurora, and Dormorlum to roll initiative for me. And then the rest of you, if you're following closely behind, that's up to you if you are moving forward. So. No. Okay.
Inspiration, maybe.
Does inspiration allow me to reroll that?
Well, you could add your inspiration.
You have an
inspiration die. You can add it to that.
Do you want to add it then? So what do I do? Roll a d20 for that?
So yeah, you spend your inspiration and then you basically have advantage on the check. So you get a
Correct.
Oh dear, what was that? Okay.
It was moved.
So I got an 11 in
Okay.
total. That sucks.
And roll initiative on these guys. Oh man.
How close do we have
Oh man.
to roll?
Yeah.
What?
How close do we have to get in order to roll
I can't hear you. I can't understand you. I'm getting an echo. Someone might have mentioned to me that it was a little easy last time. Yep. So these guys, what were you? 1 second while I ask.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you in there.
Okay. I was asking how close we have to get in order
to roll initiative.
If you guys in the back want to go ahead and roll initiative, that's fine. I'm just expecting right now the only people in combat are the 3 in the front. So if you guys want to do that, that'll just put you in the initiative order. But if you're not in front right now, click on your token, your person on the screen, and then hit initiative. So 1, 2.
Guys, I think I'm gonna die.
Might work in your favor, you never know. Okay, so we got that. Everybody on there. Benfina Balasar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, go ahead and just click that one. Let's do. That's weird. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna sort that. Descending. All right, so Orca number 1. You could tell that these guys have just kind of been chilling for a while, waiting, kind of expecting that people are gonna look for trouble. And so he's going to go ahead and he's going to use some of his movement speed to go towards Miss Aurora. Come on. Hold on.
Of course, there's front 3 people too.
Right?
That's right. I took on 4 red ruffians at one time all by myself.
And almost died. Yes. Okay, so their movement speed, it looks like gonna move forward for 30.
Remember, I was drinking and told the story, and everybody believed me that I took them all on and beat them all.
Real. Alright, so he's gonna move that far. And then he's just gonna grunt at you. At this point he's gonna show his dominance, kinda like a haka. Beats his chest a little bit. Then this guy over here, he's going to move up as well. And he's going to go ahead and attempt to swipe at you. He is going to use... he pulls out, as he's approaching, you see him hefting from behind him a large great axe. He pulls it off his back, and he comes and he swings down for... This is going to be a roll, because I don't have that sheet. I'm gonna guess that a 7 doesn't hit. So he comes up to the same rocks that you're standing on, and he stumbles a little bit because the rocks underneath him start sliding. This area that you're in is kind of precarious. And for those of you who are going to be trying to travel up to the until you get up to this part right here, this flat part, it's going to be considered difficult terrain because you're going uphill and it's little like rock slide type gravel. Shh, Tiger Lily. Yeah, I just do it that way. That way, Aurora doesn't have to worrying about too. So, all right. So next up, the next orc in the thing. He looks a little bit perplexed, a little bit unsettled, but he's cool. And then this other guy's going to use a dash action, and I'm gonna see if he sees Clandon here. One sec. Gonna roll again. Brandon, roll me. You rolled this stealth check before, but roll me another stealth check. I want to do a contest to see if you're still being quiet enough for him not to see you. Okay, so that's 16. Yeah, he just walks past you. And he's gonna try and from the other side he's gonna try and attack Aurora. Well, no, he can't. So for this he used his dash action to get there. He's gonna grunt at you and heft out. He pulls out his great axe. Both of them are just lumbering oafs that are looking at you like fresh meat. Clandon, it's now your turn. Balasar, you're on deck. Yes, both of them have their backs to you. All of them right now are trained on Aurora because that's what they immediately see in front of them.
Alright, then I'm gonna stay where I'm at so I stay hidden and very stealthily pull out my longbow and take a shot at this guy right there.
Okay. Good.
Headshot.
The one that's between you and Aurora. Okay, go ahead and roll. I'm gonna say that doesn't make it, just barely. So yeah, you shoot, and the bow shoots, and you just see it go, flies off into the distance, and you'll find out on their next turn if they heard you or not. Okay, Balasar, it's your turn. If you choose to move at this point, then that works as well, and you can join the initiative. I'm assuming that at this point you guys have been walking up, you see the trail, and then you will have seen the 2 orcs pop over, but you're not aware of the others on the other side.
But we are aware that they're initiated in the combat.
Yes, you do see that Aurora is kind of sliding. She's downhill a little bit from these guys. on unsure footing, and these two orcs are taking swings at her.
So for me to move up next to Aurora, would that be
Half movement.
so that's rough terrain?
Is rough terrain.
Okay,
To make 100% sure that it's.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
I'm gonna move up to here, and then not do anything because I'm not close enough to do much.
Okay.
Can you not reach out with
Your javelin does or your glaive
reach?
has reach, for I think it's 5 foot reach.
5 foot, yeah.
For a glaive,
Correct.
would that make me be able to?
Basically, it's like a pole arm, so you could reach it, grab it by the bottom, and lunge outwards, and be able to attack someone who wouldn't be normally within your attacking range.
Legs.
'Cause at this point, you are, I believe, 5 feet. You'd be able to reach that orc if you wanted.
You could even jab the ground underneath him to make him slide.
Yeah, hook his legs. You can hook him.
It's up to you.
I'm gonna swing for him.
Okay.
Or poke for him, whatever.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack for your glaive. 10 does not hit. So as you go for him, he kind of lifts his foot up, and then he looks over at you and says something in Orcish to the other orcs, and you see just you've been found out. There's more than one. Okay, so Dora Morlum, unless you have any bonus actions you want to take, and I'm not going to ask you bonus actions from here on out, but just know you guys, if you want to have them, then you use them. So slowly taking the training wheels off. All right, Dora Morlum, what do you want to do? And Benfina, you're on deck.
Alright, can I run on this this here without taking difficult terrain?
If you get up on there, yes, I wouldn't count it as difficult terrain because you're right on the cusp of that mantle or that plateau.
Right along that, so I can just run like.
Yep. Yeah, so as long as it's the same level on it, you should be totally fine. But if you're trying to traverse up higher or lower, then you'd be difficult.
Alright, in that case, I will swing my warhammer with 2 hands. And I will
Natural 20. Nice. Okay, go ahead. That does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage. And you said it was two-handed? So it'll be the value on the right. Okay. I know, right? So let me make sure that's a 1d8 plus a 1d10. Yes. Now, what's your strength modifier? So that's your 1d10 plus 3. That would be 4 at the very least. Okay, so this doesn't count. That didn't do your other one. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna just double your base value. Wait, or did it? No, it did. It did. Never mind. Forget what I said. So the 5 plus 9 is your with the critical. I double check it because I don't trust Roll20's math. So.
Okay, so that is right though, that 5 plus 20.
Yes. So that's 5 plus 9, so it's 14. So you did 14 damage to him. Yep. So you go ahead and you bring it down. What's your flavor text for it? What do you want to do?
So I come in, I charge at him, and as I go to swing in, I'm coming around like a baseball bat almost, right into his chest, right into his spinal column.
Okay. As you come around, you hear a sickening crack as it, and the orc makes contact. He yelps a little bit, but he's still standing. But you've definitely earned him a visit to the chiropractor.
Then he cries out his battle cry. I want to match the number.
Yes. That's perfect.
He does say hi, and she's waving to all of you.
Hi, Ellie.
They're saying hi back.
Okay, so you do that. Okay, Venvina. Zedek, you're on deck.
I have a shot.
Do I have?
You can shoot because it's uphill. You'd be able to shoot both orcs without disadvantage. Just
Okay,
because of the way that they're uphill from you.
my shot is awesome enough.
I want to try and shoot the one and have it go through him, and then shoot the guy that's right lined up behind him.
Okay. Difficulties class is very high on that, but yes. Go ahead. Basically natural 20. 18, not bad. Okay, so your attack does hit the guy in the front. It doesn't go through to the other guy. And how do you want him to die?
I want it to
shoot
right through his eye.
Okay.
Just get him.
You see the familiar twang of a heavy crossbow and at Aurora, this orc that was once gutturally just like about to wail on you. Dora Morlum, the guy that you just broke his back, spinal column in half and left him with 1 hit point. Venfina, right through the eye socket, drops him like a rock. And you see him just kind of tumble and slide down this hill, creating kind of a, not really a rock slide, but just a gravel trailing down here. So
1 hit point. That's all I've done.
well done. All right. Any bonus actions?
1 hit point. Kind of a waste.
I know, right? I almost had enough.
Arg. Okay, nope, I'm good.
All right. Zedek.
Okay, noticing the bit of difficulty in the terrain, would run up and lay down mold earth and make it solid so it's easy to get up.
Okay, perfect. What's the distance on that? And let me change this music. This music way too chill for a battle.
Yeah, it's like it feels like Minecraft right now.
I know, right?
Calm music and there's enemies around me.
That's exactly right.
That's better.
There you go.
It's mold earth.
Yes. You can make it to make difficult terrain smooth or
Okay.
difficult terrain difficult for 1 hour.
What's the width? 30 feet. Okay.
30 foot rain, 5 foot cube is what it is. It's a cantrip.
Okay. So where's your point of origin?
Point of origin would probably be right here, kind of behind the tree. I can't.
Where Clandon is? Right here.
Isn't it right click to ping? Oh, no.
If you're on the cursor icon.
Sorry, I should clarify. It's a 30-foot range, 30 foot away, but its area is only 5 feet, so 1 square.
It's a 5 foot by 5 foot cube.
Okay. So
So I could have casted it from back here.
okay, so you could cast it back there, and when you're saying 5 foot, okay, so it would basically be like what Dora Morlum's standing on would be molded. Okay, all right,
So you
Yep.
get sure footing.
perfect. All right, I'm gonna give it a square, just so we can see it. And you wanted it right by Clandon, or did you want it more on the hill where the difficulty was?
On the hill where the difficulty is, like right
Okay,
here.
so that red square, which I'm gonna change to green, we'll say that is. You guys see how do you want the effect to come, or how do you want that spell to manifest itself?
The ground kind of like hardens into like a concrete, like it just kind of fills itself in.
Okay. So Dora Morlum, you feel underneath your feet the slow rumblings of the earth reassembling itself, hardening, packing, and what was once kind of a loose rock slide, kind of a sandstone type material, is now a very solid plate of rock beneath your feet. So
It's still a little rough, but for traction, but it's not like it won't slide down.
perfect.
Do I need to take like any agility test or anything for the?
Nah. Not for this one. If he had said he wanted to try and mold the earth and get people's feet trapped in it, probably, but
Okay.
I'll give you a pass this time.
Alright.
Okay, anything else?
I can at least move. So actually, I'm going to change into my feral form of wolf direwolf.
Okay. Go ahead and mark that off. And you are now in Wolfie form. I gotta figure out a way to do it on Roll20 where we can switch your icon. Okay, cool. So, let's just go ahead and give you... I'll put a snail there. You can change it to whatever you want, just so I can remember you have something. Alright, so now we've got Orc. Orc in the back. He's gonna take his dash action, try and get as close as possible. And this point, he saw and heard this twang from Clandon. So he's gonna run right up to you, and it's almost like a bull. He's almost like a bull, where you see. Well, it's more of a he saw the bushes move and the twang and everything else. So he comes running up, and it's like standing off with a bull. He comes up, and just like this, the skin on his body and everything, and he just kind of swings his head like a bull, looking at you, just taut. His muscles, all the tendons in his arms. He's ready for a fight. But that's the end of his turn. The next one is going to go ahead and he's going to come up just a little bit. And he's going to throw a javelin at Dormorlum. This guy in the back. Gonna go right there. So his attack. He reaches back, his thick fingers and corded arms. He pulls out a javelin from behind him. He launches it in your direction. Oh, does a 7 hit? So as he throws it, Balasar and Vinfina, you just see this javelin go flying past and clatter out in the bushes behind you. At that point, that's the end of his orc's turn. Next orc. Orc. Gonna also run up, and he's going to try and throw another javelin. This time, it's going to be at Aurora. She's the one that kind of burned their hatred.
It's all your fault, Aurora.
16, does that hit? The 16 hit? Okay, so the 16 throws. He throws it at you as it flies past your head. It comes clattering down below in the distance. Aurora, it is now your turn. On that, are you sure? Isn't your armor class 13? Or did you change it? Which thing? That's okay. You what? It should be up on the top. AC or armor class. Or if you click on your person, it'll be in the blue circle. I just want to make sure that it's very well possible that Roll20 is out of date, and that's why I'm asking.
Okay, so when I was updating my person on D&D, like last time or the time before,
Okay.
it said that my AC was 19 now, and so I changed the AC on my thing to 19.
That is a high AC.
That's what D&D said. So I was like, oh,
Okay.
D&D Beyond, and so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's okay.
If it's supposed to be 13, I'll change it back to 13.
That's okay. Let me just do one quick check.
Mine is 19.
Because if you're wearing like plate mail, it would be 19. I think. Yeah, you're wearing leather armor. Yeah, so that should be 13. So that's okay. So that's 7 points of piercing damage. But then go ahead and go with what you're doing. I just wanted to make sure because, like, again, I don't trust Roll20 at all.
Okay, I changed it back to 13,
Okay.
and I'll take away 7.
Okay. Now, who are you gonna attack? And this also includes your panther attacks, which you'll roll your d20 for. You have the monster guide over there? You have the monster guide over there?
I'm gonna attack the person right in front of me.
Okay.
With my knife.
Alright. Go ahead and roll for attack. All right, so 12 just barely does not make it. So you swing at him. Both of you at this point are still trying to get your steady footing. This whole all happened within like 2 or 3 seconds. Wasn't quite able to get it. What's Tiger Lily doing?
She is going to pounce on him.
Okay. So for pounce, go ahead and she will make a DC of 12. So that's 11. Is that strength? Okay, so he's not knocked prone. But she can go ahead and attack him. So she's basically now up in his face. He made his throw with by like 1. Excuse me. Does she want to attack?
Yes, I'm gonna have her bite.
Here's this. I'm gonna show my. Okay, we'll do that, and then I have to look at that. Okay, so for the bite, go ahead and do a 1d20 plus 4. That'll see if it hits. Okay, so that's 20. Yep, it's natural 20. So this one, what you're going to do is for her bite attack, you're going to do a 1d6, and you're going to either you can roll that twice or you can double it. And I'm going to put that up to everybody else. What would you guys prefer? Would you prefer to roll your when you get a critical? Do you want to roll them twice, or do you want to just double the first dice? Just double it.
Unless it's a 1, I'd like to roll twice.
We have to go one way or the other. Okay, doubling it. All right, so roll it once, and then we're gonna at the very end we're gonna add +2 for your piercing damage. So roll the 1d6. We'll double it and then +2. So that's 6 points of damage +2. That's 8 points total. She bites into him, leaves a big old mark on his arm, taking away some of the flesh. But you know, being an ogre, he has a lot of flesh to go through. So he's, sorry, orc. Orc. But ogres are like onions. Anything else you want to do with your movement? Is there anything else you want to do, Aurora? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're good. Is there anything else, Aurora?
No, I said we're good.
Okay, sorry. All right, Roland.
All right. Well, I can move exactly 3 squares, so I'll move up to here.
Okay.
Let's see here. Make sure I am saying that right. Yes, I do have 3 squares. And then, not being able to attack any orcs, I'm actually going to.
You only have 15 movement?
Full terrain up to this point still.
Yeah, correct.
Terrain altogether,
Yeah, correct.
And then I'll go ahead and I'll just take the dash action, do 5, 10.
Okay. And now that you're up there, as long as you stay up on that plateau, there's not any difficult terrain.
Go charging up and bring my shield to bear.
Okay. It's all ready to rock and roll. All right, so it's now the top of the round. Dormorlum, Clandon, Roland, and Aurora. What's your passive perception?
11.
Okay. What's everybody else's? 14? Yep. 10. Aurora's, what's yours? It should be right at the very bottom of your, underneath all your stats. 14. Okay, so those of you who have 14, you hear a loud, thunderous rumbling beneath your feet. The rest of you are too engaged in combat to really kind of hear it or feel it. But those of you who are sensitive to that, you do feel and that's it. So now the orc sees Roland coming running up on him, pulls his shield out, and this orc's just gonna try and unload on you with his great axe.
I just binge watched Stranger Things. Such
A good one.
It is such a
12. Does that hit? All right, so he comes swinging down at you, just completely trying to slash at you, but nothing. Doesn't happen. So at that point, the next orc swings. You see the some of the shale from this rock as his axe hits the ground and misses you. You see it crumble and break. You can tell that this rock it's old, but it's very brittle. Orc over by Aurora. After having been bitten by the panther, it's going to go ahead and try and take an attack at the panther. And I'm going to say it's with disadvantage because of... No, because the bite's not a... Never mind, bite's not a grapple. So it's going to go ahead and swing at the panther. Let's see if Tiger Lily makes it. What's Tiger Lily's armor class? 12? Okay, so... Oh, it's natural 20. So... It swings back in fury after just having been bitten by this, and it does a total of 19 slashing damage. So at this point, yeah, she's gonna do a saving throw. She's not. There wasn't massive damage. So what happens is this orc comes around and just thwang. You hear just the ringing of his great axe as it collides with the panther's head, and you see her eyes just roll up in the side of her head. So she is currently not... She's prone, and I'm going to say just kind of slid her away a little bit just for flavor. He turns back to you. Next one. He is dead. Clandon, it's your turn. Debalsar, you're on deck. Okay. Awesome. It's about time these archers start hitting stuff. Kill all my stuff before it gets to you. Okay. Go ahead and swipe. And with that planar warrior, it gives you a bonus damage, is that right? Extra bonus damage if that's on hit if it hits, right? Okay, bonus force damage on hit. Okay. No, that one won't hit. So he comes at you and you're just slightly off canter. You feel that pulsing energy, that familiar planar energy that you're siphoning into this strike. As you go past him, it doesn't quite connect, and that you just feel that untapped power still just resonating. Because is it for 1 minute that after you cast it? Okay, just check on that, make sure, and then that'll tell you when it's in. So, while you're doing that, as you're engaging, again, those who had the higher perception, those who didn't, at the top of the mountain, you start feeling it more and more. As you look over into the cave mouth, you see an ogre. And he you hear him bellowing out with these deep guttural irritation, and you see with him dragging at his side, he has this large tree-like club with spikes protruding from the ends. Most of his body is just thick, corded, and coarse, and you can tell it's just this massive ball of muscle. Yes, it was. Don't worry. So he comes out and he's bellowing at you. You should be worried. All right, so at this point he clubs his chest a few times and then takes his mace and just slams on the ground, and you just see this small crater where his mace comes down, ready to fight. And he locks eyes at this point. He's looking between the few of you. He locks eyes right now with Clandon, who's looking his direction. Somehow you hid behind an aspen tree. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. With a natural 20, you did it. I mean, an eagle flies overhead, and somehow you blended into that shadow of the eagle. Like, that's how miraculous your thing was. Balasar, Dormorlum, you're on deck.
Alrighty. Guys, do I have to wait turns to like say stuff?
I'll give you a bonus action since that was.
I already used a bonus action, so.
I was considered a minor action. It's not that big of a deal. If you wanted to say something, you could say something while punching someone in the face. So.
Guys, let's get some distance. Use your ranged weapons. Try to shoot.
All right, Balazar.
Considering what he has said, that's a good question.
And right now, Dormorlum sees him, Aurora would see him, Roland would see him, Clandon could see him, but the people who are further downhill, Balasar would see him, but where Venfina and Zedek are standing, it would be very difficult to see the ogre. You might be able to see the top of his head, but he's going to have 3/4 cover.
Sorry, after he said to get distance,
Okay.
decided to rethink. I feel like I'm just gonna like move up to like next to people, like as he said to get distance, and like basically just make sure that we're safe in that, I guess.
Okay.
Assisting others in, I guess, I don't know, just kind of like widening out a little bit and staying back from this like this nice little land that's actually traversable.
Okay.
And just kind of like waiting, I guess.
Okay, so you take a little bit of a sidestep. Okay.
Sidestep and let things develop.
Okay, so you're holding your action? Okay, if you're holding your action, what is your trigger and what is your action going to be when that trigger happens?
Can I have a conditional, like 2 different actions?
I'm trying to remember.
Basically, what I want to do is if everybody like starts to clear out, like take off with them. But like if one of the orcs moves forward to like,
I've only seen people do it with one, and just because that's what I'm aware of, let's go that direction until like we verify. So just figure out one action you want to take,
I'm just gonna
and note
orcs to be
in range.
Sorry, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so if any orc comes in range, you're going to attack, and then just note that holding actions. This is just a blanket statement for everybody. When you hold your action, it's only your action. So your movement, your bonus actions, those kind of things don't get held. So just as for FYI. All right, okay, Dormorlum, what are you doing?
I might have soiled my armor.
Oh!
No, I in turn, in that case, I am gonna go, coming over here to this orc.
Okay.
Right here, and attacking this orc.
All right. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Still on the same plane of existence here.
Lanar existence. 18 does hit. Are you doing it one-handed or two-handed?
Two-handed.
Okay, this is going to be the value on the right.
4.
Okay, go ahead, and when you swing at him, for 4 damage, how do you attack him?
I swing at him, and I
Okay.
right above the knee.
Okay, so as you come down, again, as with the last one, you hear a sickening thud. This time it didn't quite crack the way the last one did, but you feel it sink into his flesh. You feel that the detachment of the muscles as you've hit it, it has severed some of the muscles and separated them out. He looks over at you after having bellowed out to Aurora in triumph, and he just like he's ready for a fight.
I growl right back at him.
Perfect. You're both dribbling in each other's faces. Next up is going to be Venfina, and Zedek, you're on deck. What you gonna do when they come for you? Yes, it is your turn.
Okay, I would like to.
Advance so I can get a better visual.
Okay, remember it's at half distance until you get to the green square.
Okay.
Or half speed, I should say, not distance.
What is Venfina able to see from there?
From where she's standing, she can see the orc that's engaging with Dormorlum. She can see Roland and part of the orc behind him. The other two are a little obscured. And possibly, she'd probably be able to see the top of the orc with like half cover for the other orc that's next to you, Clandon. But after having moved up there, now she should have a pretty good view of most of the battlefield. She's just about knee height or kneecap level for these orcs. So she would have, I would consider her like half covered if someone was to shoot an arrow from back at the cave, for instance.
Okay, so I cannot, however,
see the giant guy.
From where you're standing, you could see him, but he's gonna have cover because there's a lot of stuff in front of him. He's tall and he's broad. He's the large is. Oh, here, I'll give you a picture. I'm sorry, I forgot. Donkey. This is the big guy. Large, I believe he's about 15. Is that about right? 15 feet, Roland? For large creatures? 10? Is it 8 moving up? Okay, we'll just see. He's about 10 feet. He's very thick and corded. The guys you guys are fighting are probably around 6, 7 feet. All of them just very thick, but this guy's particularly stout. So from where she's standing, she would shoot at him, but it would be a disadvantage because he's probably got half cover on her. He's a big object, but okay.
Okay, well, I would like to
cast
9 cents.
Okay. All right.
And then
I would like to.
Okay, so you're looking for anything evil. From 60 feet, as from where you're at, the particulars that you're looking at, you do recognize these orcs and these ogres. Each of them just have the smell of evil. Just like anything comes in their path, they're gonna smash it because it's fun. They aren't necessarily aligned with any particular order. They do things because they want to. You don't sense anything else in the vicinity, just the orcs one that you've dispatched, the other 5, and the ogre. You do sense the ogre further in the distance, and at which point you could see him and know where he's at, but he's still going to have cover on you.
Okay,
I would like
to, as a bonus, use my Misty Step.
Okay, go ahead, Misty Step. And you can go anywhere you can see. Then 30 feet, I think. Is that right? Bonus action, 30 feet. Okay. So as you guys see Venfina, for a moment she kind of stops, grasps her holy symbol for a moment, and then you just see nothing but like a puff of smoke just poof where she was. The dust slowly settling. The ogres don't take notice. She just bamfs out of existence from what you guys can see. Until she reappears. Question mark?
Sorry, I was deciding where.
Okay, right there. So you see her disappear, and you just hear this popping sound. Just whoop, there's suddenly Benfina standing there in the middle of the battlefield. Here I am. What are you doing for your action?
Divine Sense is technically
My action. So.
Oh, okay. So at this point, you bamf into existence up there. As you do so, the orc to your south kind of gets a little startled, seems to take notice.
I would like.
Just as a note, my glaive is what I have.
Your glaive?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your glaive. Got it. Zedek, it's your turn.
Okay. Being in wolf form, I'm gonna kind of bound southward here.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go straight for this guy.
Okay.
And straight at his jugular with a bite.
Okay.
Because I have 50 movement.
Okay, perfect. I was just going to ask that, so that should work. And go ahead and roll for your attack. There we go. I can see your dice. They're gray. 15 does hit, so you go ahead and sink your jaws in. Roll for damage, and then how you want the damage to be done.
Oh, the bite was 1d20 plus 5, so it's actually higher than that, but that's okay. 2d6 plus 3. I'm going straight for the jugular.
Okay.
And it's since I'm in a full charge, I want to try to tackle him to the ground.
Okay. You go ahead and roll your damage.
2d6 plus 3.
All right. Perfect. 9. Okay. So how you want him to die? You pounce on him, you tackle him to the ground. You got his jugular right in your maw.
Kind of like swinging the head around, like trying to throw him around with a rag doll because I'm a large. My breed is large.
Okay.
And try to actually throw him into the guy to the right to see if I can like knock him over.
Okay. So as you're doing so, you're shaking back and forth, grabbing him. For that to knock him over to be kind of like an attack. So if you want, you can do that on your next turn. But right now, the dead one's head or basically lifeless neck is in your maw. Okay. All right. Next orc. The orc.
Did the wrong orc there,
Did I?
Did the wrong orc.
Which one was it?
This orc that Zedek is next to.
Oh, derp. Sorry. Thank you.
Is he dead?
At this point, that guy is not. That guy's not. But as you tore into him, he kind of steps back. He's got his hand on his neck, and you see him bleeding profusely, but he's still on his feet. He's got his battle axe ready to go. Thank you. I for some reason thought Dora Morlund was. I haven't zoomed out.
I know he died with 9 damage because he hasn't been touched yet.
Bing. Okay, cool. So there's that one. And next up, we've got an orc. Hey, what's up, Rainbow Kitten? We're just fighting some orcs. We've got the orc next to Clandon. He's going to go ahead and swing out at you. Okay, so let's get him. He's going to use his great axe again, and he's sweeping around. He's going to come back on the side. 10 doesn't hit, correct? So in his bloodlust, he swings his axe around. It catches in some of the tree a little bit, and it gives you just enough time to sidestep the attack. He again grunts gutturally, figuring out what's going on there. All right. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so the next one, you've got the orc down in the middle. He is going to see Vamfina bamf into existence. He's a little taken back by it, but he's going to go ahead and turn his attention to you. He's recently lost his javelin, so he's pulling out his great axe and is going to make his attack. All right. Oh, no, that's not the one. There we go. So he rolls for an attack. Does an 11 hit?
To me, no, it doesn't.
Okay. So as he goes past, again, you deflect his blow. He comes down, hitting the rocks, creating a little bit of a shower of just shale and broken bits and pieces of rock, but no damage taken to you. So next, as he's doing that, the orc in the back, he's now going to rush up, kind of seeing what's going on here, and he's going to aid his brethren. He's going to bring out his great axe and swing down at Roland. Hopefully my voice doesn't go out. 22, does that hit?
This is on me, right?
Correct.
Yes, that will hit.
So he brings it down for 4 slashing damage. Aurora and Roland, you're on deck. So Aurora slash Tiger Lily.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
With me being only 5 feet away from this orc, it would be not wise to use a bow and arrow, correct?
Correct, because it'd be very difficult to draw and shoot an arrow if someone's swinging an axe at you. So you can do it, but I believe it's disadvantaged when it's in melee range.
No, it's fine. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay, so you swing a short sword. Again, just the footing where you're at, trying to swing, it's just not quite connecting where you want it to. You do still have movement if you'd like. Tiger Lily, go ahead and do a death saving throw. The way those work is anything above a 10 succeeds, anything below that fails. If it's a 20, they stabilize. If it's a 1, that's an automatic, I think it's 2 death saving throws.
A D20 on that?
That's correct.
Oh, almost a 20.
All right, so 14, perfect. So the Tiger Lily succeeds on 1 death saving throw. Just still seems to be seemingly out of harm's way. There's 2 more if she succeeds. I think if she succeeds 2 more, then she'll stabilize, which means she's basically not gonna die. But if she fails 3, then she's dead, kind of thing. Just so you're aware of the circumstance. Roland.
All right, well, let's see here. I think I'm just going to attack Dora Morland's attacking just so we can see if we can get him out of the way.
All right, 11 does not hit.
All right, well then, I'll just swing a little bit and then bring my shield back around.
Okay. You do that. He kind of sidesteps it a little bit, gets it out of the way. Next up, orc on here in front of Zedek. Zedek, you bite into him, and he's pretty ticked off, so he's going to go ahead and swing at you with his great axe.
I am going to use a reaction.
Okay, go ahead and use your reaction.
My fighting style, advantage on the attack roll because I'm bringing my shield around to protect my ally.
Okay, so disadvantage?
Yep.
Okay, he rolled a 22 on both. It was very good. Technically, he rolled a 17, but it's a +5 on their thing. So okay, so he swings. You bring your shield in, but it's just barely out of the way. 12 slashing damage for Zedek. And you updated your health, right? Just to make sure you're not playing at a disadvantaged health pool.
Well, now it's my form.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah. So if you're
That's minus 12.
yes, that is minus 12 from your form. Okay, that's pretty good there. Next, the orc in front of Dora Morlum. He's gonna go ahead and he's gonna swing at you again. This is the guy you just clubbed into the shin. You pull back with your mace, and he comes back. You just see him in the distance coming with his great axe.
Horrible.
10 miss. Okay, so he swings and he misses. Roland, you feel next to you as the great axe just tang right on the floor near both where you two are standing. Doesn't hit either one of you. So, Clandon, you're there. Balasar, you're on deck after the ogre. Bless you.
I'm just gonna stand my ground since everybody else is standing their ground as well, and pull my sword again
Okay.
since it's on in my hand and my bow's on the ground.
Perfect.
Here we
Here we go
go again on our own.
again.
Yeah, you got it.
Is it Traveler or who seen that one? I remember. It was 13. That is. Yes, that just hits.
Oh, yes, it's White Snake.
Just hit.
I couldn't remember if it was White Snake or Twisted.
Wow, White Snake. And remind me, longsword, you've got two of them there. You said it was. What is the right? I assume the right is if you're using two-handed? We're using it two. I assume you put your bow away. Are you using it one-handed or two-handed? Okay. Next time I'll have you say it beforehand. This time I'll allow it. So you come in for 8, and then did you find out if your thing is valid for a minute or if you have to cast it before every time?
It's valid for the turn.
For just that turn, okay. And did you cast it again?
I did not.
Okay, cool. So it's got the 8. He goes ahead and sinks in for 8 damage. What was your attack looking like?
It was a little rough because, it's my first time really fighting with this sword, and
Okay.
especially I'm used to my bow. But it does connect.
Perfect. Fair enough.
I just swing kind of straight at his abdomen.
Um.
From top to bottom, kind of at a 45-degree angle.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you go ahead, you hit for the 8 damage. And to answer your question, I don't care if you guys are seeing the rolls for those guys, but it shouldn't be showing you. Is it showing you?
So not those numbers. I was actually talking about the numbers I can see on each individual, and I can see the damage that's been done to them.
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't notice them. I'm just putting them in their health slots for what damage has been done to them. I don't put their total health pool in there, so if you see the damage, it doesn't matter. At least to me. If someone wants, I just expect all y'all to not metagame. Alright? No metagame. I'm sure this would be a lovely feature for Colby, but okay, so you guys hear Clandon, you swing, you hit this guy, you're pretty pumped that this happened, but then you hear again smash as he comes forward. This is
The only word in common it actually knows is smash.
yep. And with this one, he is going to go through. Venfina, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me, please? He's a dumb brute. You're the first thing he wanted to smush. 12. As he passes through, you're knocked to the side, on prone on your side. So he just kind of brambles past you, sweeps you aside with his hand, and he's going to make an attack at Clandon. What's up, babe? Nope.
Dude, I think Preston has something against us tonight.
No, not at all. No, just kidding.
I want some crowd control spells.
Hey, what's a game without a little bit of suspense, right? All right, so he attacks, and this ogre is going to come back with his giant club.
No, he picks the tree and uproots the tree.
Right?
That's not doing me any good.
And as he does so, he hits that tree in front of you, And as he's swinging it around, the great club catches the tree, and just like in a cartoon, the tree bows backwards and then springs. He rolled a natural one. He springs backwards, and it swings back and smacks him in the face. So he takes 7 bludgeoning damage. And he kind of shakes his head. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like even more angry now. He thinks that you've done something. He thinks you've done something to offend his ancestors, apparently. So you're going to be hard pressed to keep him off you. Balasar, it's your turn.
Alright, so I have a question first.
See.
One of my abilities is Rage.
Yep.
It says when I make a melee weapon attack using strength, you gain a +2 bonus to the damage roll.
Uh-huh.
And it increases as you level.
Correct. Is it the? I want to say the increase is based on your strength modifier.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Roland, if you want to check real quick. Otherwise, you can use that rage as a bonus action, and it also reduce damage by half for anything but I think psychic.
Your rage damage is +2 until 9th level, and then increases the +2.
Okay. There you go. So you're at a +2 damage on if you're rage, and but you do reduce that damage if you're raging. So it's kind of a win-win. If somebody hits you with bludgeoning damage, for instance, if I hit you for 10, you'll only take 5 damage because you're raging.
Okay, I'm gonna go forward, and while the ogre is in the daze of tree slapping him in the face.
Okay.
I'm gonna move up the good land here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. If I'm right here, can I like attack from around the tree, or is that gonna?
It'll be fine. I'm considering this tree like we're talking like an aspen. It's not very big. You could cut it down if you want. It's springy, apparently, but.
I'm gonna move up and then.
Exactly. Harry Potter tree.
I'm gonna use a bonus action to rage.
Okay, go ahead.
Attack him. Let me mark it down real quick if I can find it.
Okay, so you have 15 hits. Go ahead and do damage. 6 slashing. Okay, so what's your? Do you have any flavor you want to put on it?
I'm like leaping in the air and going down at a 45-degree angle, like across his body.
Okay, so he's kind of stunned. He's still blinking a little bit, and then you just slash into him. Left nipple to loincloth. So he kind of recoils a little bit. Doesn't seem too affected by it, but.
So that would benefit from the rage as well, correct?
Did that 6? Did you already put it on there?
No, I just rolled the damage for it.
Okay, put your +2 on there, so that would be 8. That's okay. And if it rolls like that and it doesn't have strength on or your rage on there, I'll show you how to add that later, so you can have it show up both times. All right, Dormorla and Venfina, you're on deck.
Alright, so I'm gonna go and swing at the same orc again, the one that's directly in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and swing. 20. I think that hits. Definitely hits. Go ahead and do your damage. It's two-handed. 9 damage. Okay, and that's the one directly in front of you, correct?
Correct.
Okay, how do you want his head to cave in?
So, with the adrenaline surge that I have, I take a leap up, swing the hammer behind me, and swing it down on top of his head, and smash him down like a jack-in-the-box.
Okay, perfect. So from everybody from the sides of him, Aurora has got this great visual of him just running and jumping in the air. It looks like he's jumped like 10 feet off the ground. Roland, you look over and he's jumped maybe like 3 or 4 inches off the ground, and he comes down with his mace, bludgeoning this orc to smithereens. The orc kind of looks stunned for a second, and then you see the glaze of death take him over. He rolls onto the hill and just kind of slides down a little bit in defeat. Okay.
Sir, I'm at 1.
I nod thankfully at him.
Okay, Benfina. Zedek, you're on deck.
Okay. What do I have to do to not be prone anymore?
Just half your movement to stand up.
Well, I'm just gonna stand up then.
Okay.
And going to attack this lovely ogre.
Okay.
With my glaive.
Okay, go ahead and roll for attack.
And depending on if it hits, I'd like to use my divine smite.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack, and we'll see if you can apply that. Which I believe that one only takes effect if you hit it. Yeah. So you've hit it. Go ahead and roll your damage and add your damage for your. Okay, divine smite 13. Let's see. So that's 13 on top of regular damage for the glaive. I'm sorry. No. Divine smite. Is divine smite the attack you're using? Why is it showing? Okay. Ignore the top one then. Wait, is okay. The 13 is representing a 1d20. So I'm assuming you just ignore that. I don't know why it's rolling a damage thing.
Okay, I can just
roll your glaive and then click on divine smite. It should show us actual damage separately.
It will not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, syntax error on the other one. So you're gonna have to roll the divine smite manually because something's wrong with their calculation. Okay, so that's 6 plus 8.
It should be the 15 plus 6.
The 15 is what you rolled for an attack. That wasn't your damage for glaive.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, so
I rolled the 8 because you were saying it wasn't working. Go ahead and roll your damage up.
Oh, I was saying that when I put bonus divine might, it gave me that error.
Correct. So that divine smite you'll just have to roll manually till we can fix it. We'll have to do some Roll20 tweaking. All right. So okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 points. Okay. Next is Zedek, unless you have something else you'd like to do.
I can only cast one bonus, I presume.
That is correct. In a single round, you can only do one bonus, one reaction, that kind of stuff.
And the ogre does what in reaction?
You hit him, and it's kind of like someone goosed him. He kind of gets up on his tippy toes and squeezes his butt cheeks a little bit, but no real effect on him.
No actual reaction.
It's just kind of like if he came up and poked a bull in the butt. It might take notice of you, but right now it's hellbent on something else. Okay. All right, Zedek.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna go for this guy again right here.
Okay. Can do a bite attack.
Another bite.
Roll.
Time. Yeah, just roll.
So you snap at him and he just slides out of the way. He is.
Must have been from the hit that I took earlier.
Yeah, it's threw you off. All right, next orc is next to Clandon. He's gonna take another swing with his great axe. This time he's gonna try and sweep at your legs. He's trying to get you prone on the ground. So he's going to do orc.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Swing. 12. Does that hit?
That does not.
So as he swings, You jump right over it, just barely, you know, almost like you're playing hopscotch. Hopping over the, or not, I'm sorry, not hopscotch, double dutch. Except with axes. Next up, next orc. We've got the orc in the back. He is again, he got kind of brushed aside, same as Venfina. He's going to get up. He's going to come at Venfina. This time he's going to be, again, swinging his great axe. Trying to get some contact. Great axe. 20, does that hit? You take 15 slashing damage. So at that point, he comes around, swings. And the next orc is in front of Roland. Roland, he's going to go ahead and take another attack at you with his great axe. This is like a full-on, everybody line up and beat the crap out of each other till you fall over. Does an 8 hit?
No backing out now.
Gond smiles upon you this day. As he swings, comes down, just wildly, ferally, you're able to deftly sidestep his blow. Aurora. Roland, you are on deck.
Okay, I am going to move.
Okay. Okay.
And I want to take a shot at the big guy.
At the ogre. Okay, go ahead. Roll for damage. He's tall enough that you'd be able to see him over a dwarf. Roland, remind me, what's your height?
My height is.
If you moved right here, you probably get a better shot at him. Otherwise, it might be a disadvantage, because I think if Roland's a human, the ogre's 10 feet tall, and if a human's 6 feet tall, he'll be partially obstructed. But if you shoot from there, I won't give you disadvantage.
Okay.
10 just misses. So as you're shooting, he's in the midst of like grabbing the tree and shaking and be like, "Why you do this to me, tree?" And while he's doing so, the arrow just right past his nose. Didn't quite connect. And can you do a death saving throw for Tiger Lily for me? Just makes it. So that's 2 successful saves on Tiger Lily. Roland, it's your turn.
I'm attacking that guy.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Like dodging and weaving around this one guy's axe. I'm just gonna try and the ones that my companions have been hitting to try and increase my odds.
Okay, perfect. Does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage. Clandon, you're up after these 2 orcs. 4 damage. Okay, so you sink in. 4 damage. You swing at him. Any flavor you want to sprinkle on top?
Just like I do the whole stab with the sword and that arc of electricity between my 2 blades just zaps into his body a little bit.
Okay, so like a cattle prod. He looks none too pleased with the situation. And that orc you were just attacking returns the favor at this point. He's looking between the 2 of you. You having zapped him, he takes a kind of a wild swing with his axe to the left to try and deflect it in your direction. Let's see if the attack connects. Does a 7 hit? So because it was so unexpected, it was he just kind of like jerkily swings to the side, doesn't quite get any contact with you. The next orc is going to be dead. Landon, it's your turn.
The battle between me and this orc here is not over. Grabs my sword once more.
Okay.
And I miss.
Swing and a miss. So you're still chuckling a little bit under your breath, and don't quite focus what you're on. You're a little overconfident, and as you swing, he is much more focused and steps out of the way.
But this time
Okay.
That guy's kind of making me nervous.
Okay.
Oh, the tree's there.
Okay. If that's what you like to do, go for it.
What's that?
You're welcome to try.
I'm welcome to try. Oh, freak.
Go ahead. You're more than welcome. Darn, I was hoping.
The tree protects better than I do.
The ogre, he's okay. If for anyone who wants to do that, you can use your action to disengage, and that would be a way to get away from someone without getting an attack of opportunity. So he's going to go ahead and attack with his giant club again. He is going to swing for 16 at you, Clandon. Tree will not help you now. He's breaking branches off the top. He's ticked. He's at this point. He's pruned this tree. This tree is now a stump in his wake. Okay, he hits for 7 bludgeoning damage. So he comes down. He comes down and just clobbers you in the side. And so from that, you're throughout this, you're just hearing the bellows of just as he swings. 7 bludgeoning damage. Balasar, it's your turn. Dormorlum, you're next.
Sorry, I was away for bedtime stuff real quick.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to tap in the map.
Okay. You have an ogre in front of you, ogre above you, ogre below you. You could reach because you do have, you can with your glaive if you wanted. I think. Do you have javelins? You also have those if you ever want to throw them.
Yeah, I've got 1 javelin.
So that's up to you if you want to do that. Just remember, if you do throw javelins, make sure you keep track if you threw it or not, so you can go pick it up. Because I'm not gonna track that stuff.
Let's just glaive.
Okay. What are you attacking?
Hold on. I'm having trouble seeing. 1 second.
Here. Let me get rid of the tree, because I think that's red and green on top of each other.
Who's that right next to me? Is that somebody under me?
There you go. Clandon's above you, and then you have Zedek below you.
Oh, okay. His name isn't showing up, so I was confused.
Yeah, that's Zedek. And you could attack the orc below him because he's short. You'd be able to reach over him since you're a big great.
Turn away from
Oh wait, no. Never mind. You can't. He's in his wolf form. He's large, so you won't be able to get to that orc. Thank you for reminding me.
ogre it is.
Which technically you probably wouldn't be able to stand where you're standing, but that's okay. I'm gonna assume that your Zedek, your butt's going this way. You're like curling around him. Yeah. If anyone knows how to do that in Roll20 to change their icons to make it easier, I'm open book. Okay. Go ahead and attack the ogre. Roll your damage. Or your attack, and then we'll see if it hits.
Wow.
So as you're about to strike, you pull back, and he's just got this fistful of leaves as he's pruning this tree out of the way, and he just throws them in your face, and you can't see anything, so you're just kind of like swinging wildly, but it doesn't contact with anything. So you're mildly blinded for the rest of the round, just with leaves in your face. It's not a true blind, just a temporary. It's been pretty derpy. I love it. Just kidding. I don't relish in your. All right. Hey, I gotta play both sides, right? Keep you guys alive, have some fun, make the ogres happy, smush some people. Dormorlum, Venfina, you're on deck.
Alright, as a bonus action, I'm going to pull out one of my hand axes and go with 2-handed attack against the orc that is right in front of Clandon, I believe.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
So
2 separate
first
attacks.
attack
You can't. Yes, I think you can use Warhammer. Was there any special rules on those? A light weapon. Is Warhammer a light weapon?
Warhammer is weight 2 pounds.
Does it say heavy or like a martial? I think it's a martial weapon, which those are considered heavy. Okay, yeah. So you could use 2 hand axes if you wanted. But that's something that I recently found out. So I apologize. There's a feat. There's a feat that you can get to do it, I think, but right now I don't think you have that feat because that'll come at level 4, or yeah, 4. But if you want to attack with your 2 hand axes, you're more than welcome.
Okay, well in that case I will stick with my two-handed and...
Okay.
Okay, then go potty. Anyway, so Warhammer.
Okay.
Hits with the 13 one-handed.
Okay.
D6 for a potty.
That's funny. So 6 damage. Okay.
7 damage because I'm using two-handed.
And you're attacking the one that's in front of Roland, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so 7 damage because I'm just using two-handed on that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you go ahead and you smack him. Yeah! Nice. Okay, Vimfina. Zedek, you're on deck.
Alright. I'm going to do. Are any of these orcs looking at me at all?
The one orc in front of you, yes. The ogre's got its back facing to you. The orc to so the ogre and the orc. So like these 2 guys and the ogre are both looking at Clandon. These 2 guys down here are looking at Roland, Dormorlum, and Zedek. And then the guy right in front of you, he's the only one that's looking at you.
Okay, well, I'm going to attack him.
Okay.
With my glaive.
Okay, go ahead and glaive him. Glaive him good. Do 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 do. It does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
We'll see how that goes.
I know, right?
I don't know.
It's because she has a -1 on her strength modifier. Indeed.
That's odd.
Let's look at your thing real quick. I don't trust it. This is why I prefer D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I do have negative 1 on my strength.
Yes, you do. Strength is 8.
Eh.
Correct. The 5. So okay, just remember that on yours for your proficiency bonus, because you are proficient with those glaives. That's going to be a 5. All right. There's probably I know there's a way that we can add to those
So
calculations,
I
but
just need to add to it.
correct.
Okay, it should be good now.
Okay. So +2, and then so we'll go ahead and roll that damage on him. All right, so I got the 5 damage recorded on him. Anything else?
Nah,
Okay.
I'm not wasting anything else.
Zedek, it's your turn, and Aurora, you're on deck after the 3 orcs.
Okay, I'll take you out in a second, dog.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
If I step to here, I'm not getting out of or anything, but it's just a 5-foot step.
Yeah,
It shouldn't provoke an act of opportunity.
correct. You should be fine. You're right now. I would consider you're strafing between the 2 of them. You are putting your back to the ogre, but the ogre's disposition is towards Clandon.
Yeah, my attempt is to go that way and try to bite at the
Okay. The drag would be kind of a grapple, but if he does enough damage... So would you prefer to attack or grapple?
Oh, probably grapple.
Okay, so instead do a strength check for me.
Okay. Strength check.
Since I don't think you have like athletics or anything, just do a flat strength check on the wolf.
His bonus because he's 17 strength.
That's correct. Use his bonus plus whatever you roll.
13.
Okay, 13, and that is against this guy's.
Woo! Spicy.
He rolled an 18, so he doesn't. You go for the grapple, and he kind of shrugs it off and looks at you a little incredulously, just hefting his axe. Just he can taste the blood in the air. Next orc. He's going to go ahead and attack at Clandon. He's going to use his great axe again. He's going to swing and he misses. The one in front of Venfina is also going to swing and miss. Does a 15 hit Venfina? Okay, so he swings, he misses. The next orc that is in front of Roland directly is going to swing at Roland again. 21.
He brought it.
9 slashing damage. So he comes in, brings it down. I think it feels like everything's rolling derpy today. Aurora's turn, and then Roland, you are on deck.
Okay, can I
What's up?
cast something?
Is it a reaction or?
Yeah, it's a reaction.
Okay. Yes, you may cast a reaction.
Yeah, Roar needs a
Go ahead and roll your. What's your reaction?
Okay, because Roland was just hit, right?
Correct. He's in the midst of being slashed. He's about to take the damage. What would you like to do?
I want to rebuke the violence.
Okay. Don't like it. Using your channel divinity. How often can you use your channel divinity?
Okay. This is my only time I've used it.
Yes, you're right. This is a new day.
Don't worry, I'm keeping
Okay.
tabs.
Just making sure. All right. Okay, go ahead. So let's see. Wisdom save. What is your spell DC? You rolled a 19.
11.
Okay. Does it have anything on the failed?
On the bottom.
Okay. So you go ahead and take half damage. You took 9, so that will be a 4.
No, so the attacker takes half that much damage.
Oh, I see. So it's damage to that dude.
Yes.
I see. Okay. I'm sorry. I read that incorrectly.
Force the attacker. Make some sense.
Perfect. Okay, so he hits, and it's like... It's that feeling when you jump off of a high ledge or off of a fence or something and you hit the ground and that stinging in your legs. He gets that same feeling as he comes and he connects as this unexpected return of just feedback as he hits with his axe into you. Aurora?
Boom, baby.
Aurora's turn?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I am going to aim at this guy.
Muska, Mickey. Go ahead. You can go ahead and make your attack. I'm glad someone else got that. Okay, it does not hit. It shoots and it misses.
I am just like, I don't do anything.
You're missing, but however, you have not made a failed saving throw on Tiger Lily yet. So go ahead and roll one of those. And if she succeeds, she's stabilized, but she's still unconscious. Until someone brings her above HPs. That succeeds. So Tiger Lily is currently stabilized. I'm gonna put a...
And the peasants rejoice.
Yay! Yay! All right, roll. Unless, do you have any movement you want to spend, Aurora? Did you have any movement you'd like to spend, or is that it? Just checking if my mic.
Sorry, I said no, I'm good.
Okay.
My computer's not working.
Oh, that's okay. Sometimes my mic, I can hear you through Becca's sometimes, and my Discord cuts out every so often. All right, Roland, it's your turn.
Yeah, I've been noticing that. Let's go ahead and actually attack this guy right here, which is my long sword. That good old long sword.
Okay, swingity swing. Oh, almost a 20. Almost a 20. Yes, that still hits. Go ahead and roll for damage. You just hit.
Oh my gosh.
4 damage. Okay, so you swing at him. However, this is enough to have him succumb to the breath of death breathing down his neck. How would you like him to die?
So I'm going to take the sword and I'm just going to kind of upper arc along his stomach.
Okay.
His face.
Okay.
And then falling backwards, I'm just going to move. Well, actually. So I'm going to get a attack of opportunity.
Okay. You go ahead and move back.
Yep.
So the great axe swings at you as you step away. He sees his friend kind of look up to the sky and falls backward, hits the ground. Does a 20 hit?
Yes, it will.
14 slashing damage. Holy crap. That's a lot of damage. So he comes back, you slash at him, and he falls back, and as you kind of duck back, this orc comes down and slashes at your side, just trying to gash you from inside out.
So my cool backstep turns into a stumble.
Exactly.
But I'm
Still up. He's up by 1. I'm alive! I'm not dead yet. Alright, Clandon, it's your turn. You will be in a minute, though.
Swing and a miss. No, I mean swing and a hit.
I think you're actually. Oh no, never mind. We're good.
I'm still.
19! You hit! Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, that two-handed still. Dang it.
Okay, two-handed, you get 2 damage on him. Perfect. So this orc, he's going and you slash at him. At this point, some of the furs that he has, the leather fur armor that he has around him, you see pieces of it come off, and you see where the separation is. That there's some dark brackish blood that's starting to saturate the front of his coif. Ogre, he again, he's just like, smash, little elf, and he swings at this big old. He's. Okay, go ahead and use your reaction.
Yep, I'm just using my protection again to give him disadvantage and bringing up the shield. Even though wounded, I'm crying out for God to protect my
Okay,
eyes.
perfect. So does he rolled a 24 and a 15? Does a 15 hit? Just hits. Come on, God! So he swings, he smashes for 12 bludgeoning damage. Okay, so Clandon, as you kind of get this, you start to see the brackish blood. Again, you're not used to fighting up close and personal like this. And the just comes down, and you guys hear this sickening crack as the mace or this giant great club just comes down, and you see the ground underneath where Clandon's standing start to shatter a little bit from the impact as it hits him like right between the shoulder and his neck. You see Clandon, his eyes start to go white as he falls backwards, prone on the ground, unconscious.
Fox, no.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, the ogre's gonna laugh. He's gonna and he pulls his glove up for his next assault. Balasar. Dormorlum, you're up. On deck.
Let him have it again.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Use my other rage.
Okay.
Your rage actually lasts for like a whole minute. So
Correct. You're still raging. Yep, as long as you take damage or give damage, I believe it's still active. So you're still taking half damage, and you get the +2 on your damage for any attacks. Any melee attacks. That hits, roll for damage. 9 slashing damage plus 2. Did you already put your modifier in there? Okay, perfect. Okay, 11, perfect. So 11, and that's to the ogre, correct? So you come in with the glaive, and it just digs, and you see it penetrate right on his kneecap, and you feel just this very thick, very dense, mushy feeling as it enters his kneecap. And as he does, you see his arms up in the air with his great club, and he just turns and looks at you. And he's gonna get ready to bring the rain on you. At least he's not hitting Clandon now, right? He was gonna turn Clandon into bean paste, but come on. You will on your next turn, yes. If he hits you, and let me think. If it's a melee attack at close range and you're unconscious, I believe it's 2. Is it an automatic critical? Do you remember, Roland?
Yeah, it's an automatic critical if they hit you while
Which means you fail 2 death saving throws. So, yeah, you don't want to get hit while you're sleeping. Dor Morlum, it's your turn, and Venfina, you're on deck. You swing and a miss, Venfina. Unless you have any other actions you want to take. Okay, Venfina. Zedek, you're on deck. Get into the nitty gritty.
I'm going to hit the ogre just to the south of me. Hit.
The orc or the ogre?
The orc, sorry.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage. Okay, so that is a 9, does not hit. You swing and it just goes past.
Okay, and I'd like to... Not close enough to him that it's a disengage, is it?
You are. You're within 5 feet. His striking distance. Fun fact. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I just realized that I screwed up on Roland's, but that's okay. That's my fault. Ogre has reach. In you're lucky I didn't realize it, because Ogre would have got an opportunity attack too, but I just realized that he has reach.
Oh, I wasn't actually. If he does have that reach 10 or that reach.
Is it? Is his reach +5?
His field.
Okay, good. Perfect. So, but if you took one more step.
Yes, if I took one more step, then I'd be in the.
All right. So, Venfina, do you have any bonus actions you'd like to take? I told you I wouldn't say that, but it's out of habit. I'm sorry.
Oh, maybe a deal.
Just trying to help.
I'd like to cast maybe
Sanctuary?
Sanctuary.
Is that that's as a bonus action?
It is a bonus action.
Who are you casting on?
Let me see what my range is. Oh, 30.
You have to be able to see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Creature within range. Okay. Go ahead. Whomever you want to hit.
Landon is knocked out. Right?
Correct. Unconscious.
I just saw him fall over.
Right. Roland is also very much hurt. So Tiger Lily's also unconscious. This X mark, however, is not Roland being dead. Okay, so you cast it on him. How do you cast it on him?
No, hold on. I'm trying to see who I'm going to cast on. Sorry.
Just describe how you want to do it. And...
Can I see everybody?
Not quite. You can't see Roland from where you're standing, just because you've got 3 people you're looking through, including a giant ogre. And you could see Clandon just barely through the thing there. You could see Zedek. Your Morlem might be hard to see, but if you got lower to the ground, I imagine you're probably able to see through the ogre's legs. The only one that you'd have a really difficult time seeing is probably Roland and Aurora, because Aurora is also slightly down the hill. You should be able to see pretty much everybody else.
Let's go ahead and protect. I don't know if there's any point to protect Clandon, because I don't know if like an ogre's gonna attack him still. That just hasn't really happened.
Do ogres eat their prey?
Yeah. Do I need to roll a history check for that?
I don't know. It's up to you.
All right, I think I'm gonna protect Balasar.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your protection on there, Balasar.
Ogre's about to maul him.
Right.
Well, and if Zedek gets knocked down, he gets to have all of his hit points still, because he's in wolf form. I figure you're probably the most in danger, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
The DM just needs to know.
You're welcome to do whatever you'd like.
All right.
Okay, you protect Balasar. Balasar's got protect. Zedek, it is now your turn. And Balasar, I'll expect that you just keep track of your sanctuary-ness. I'll try and remind you, but just keep me honest.
Are you using the net symbol?
Just because I'm lazy. Great cast.
Since the guy next to me is dead,
There you go.
I go to the next closest target, and
Okay.
I'm actually gonna try to climb up on the ogre's back.
Okay.
Kind of attack him from his back.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. Do I need to do dexterity or anything for climbing?
For this one, because you're large and he's large, I'd expect you're probably just getting on your back paws. I wouldn't think it's a huge feat. If he was like a fire giant or like a storm giant or something, maybe, but... That does hit. Roll for damage. That was 9 damage. Okay, perfect. So you see Balasar, he's coming to swing back, and you see his skin that's a little bit, you know, it's you see it go very taut around his neck and his arm as a large furry creature from behind bites in and starts pulling him backwards a little bit. Anything else you want to do?
Can I do anything else as... I'm trying to... There's not a whole lot of things on the wolf's sheet.
Okay.
Just gonna try to grapple hold, like, to keep on him.
Okay. Sounds good. And so the orc that's in front of Clandon is going to take a swing attack at Clandon.
What?
Clandon, you have failed 2 death saving throws. So just take note of those. The orc just attacked you.
Sorry, so he has to make the attack, and if he hits with it,
Oh, you're right, you're right.
death saving throw or 2 if it crits.
Ah, so it's not an automatic crit.
Yeah, no, it's not an automatic crit.
Okay.
That's a different version.
Gotcha. He's gonna swing his great axe. It's gonna be for 24. For your, not for damage, but just attack. I assume that hits. So it's not a critical, but you do have 1 death saving throw failed. So at this point, he saw that you were pulped to the ground. He is ready to again finish the job. Make sure that you don't ever get back up again.
So then technically, if the damage exceeds his hit points, it's an instant death.
Correct. Which right now the damage was only 8 slashing damage, so it's not too much. Hey man, thanks for coming by, Ricky. So just 1. Yeah, don't worry about damage. You just have 1 failed death saving throw. Okay. It's an easy way to do it is if you have D&D Beyond open. I don't know if there's an easy way to do it in Roll20, but you can track it there as well. Makes it easy. All right, orc number 2. He's going to swing at Venfina. All right, Venfina. 15. Does that hit? Okay, so he swings and he misses. Next orc is over by Dormorlum. He's going to swing at Dormorlum. Now engaged in battle. The 12, does that hit? Okay, so he swings. At this point, they're getting a little bit tired from the exertion of coming out and trying to have this fight, but we're getting there. Aurora, it's your turn, and Roland, you're on deck. If you're talking, Sarah, it's not coming through.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, let me do that again.
That's okay.
Wait, same action.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and roll your damage.
Rinse.
Yeah, that's about the same.
It's okay. So it's got to be something to do with like the footing you're on or whatever. But as you're about to take a shot, the ground below you starts to give way again, and you get the rocks rolling underneath you. As you shoot, it whizzes past him, whizzes past the ogre, and hits a small nest of birds out in the tree on the other side of the hill. Excuse me.
I should just
No, nah. We all have those days. Just ask anyone I roll for. I roll terrible all the time. All the time. Yeah. Click on your health. Take your health down to 0, and then it'll show your death saver markers. Actually, Roll20 does have it. Now that I remember, if you go to your perfect. Either way. Okay, Roland, it's your turn. Clandon, you're up on deck after the next orc.
Alright, well, I see Clandon get knocked down by an ogre.
Okay.
And despite the fact that I am bleeding out of my side, I turn and I kind of do that hand up, and the electricity, the radiant electricity of Gone courses from my hand to Clandon. I'm going to cast my Lay on Hands, and I'm going to use...
Okay. I thought you were going to say defibrillator, but that works.
Basically a defibrillator. I use 8, so he regains 8 hit points.
Okay, Clandon.
Come back to life.
Clandon. Yes, you regain consciousness, and you no longer have to make death saving throws. So, Clandon, you feel that air just comes back into you. he's
Down with you yet, sir.
perfect. Perfect. All right, Clandon, it is now your turn.
Alright, to use an item, is that a bonus action?
It depends on what it is. What is it? I can, yeah, just for brevity, because so our things don't take forever, I say, yeah, bonus action for your healing potions is fine.
Okay, well, then I'll make my attack first, and then I'll use that. So,
I think officially, correct me if I'm wrong, Roland. I think officially it's an action, but I just do it as a bonus action because it takes forever. Yeah, just use it as a bonus action because we have such a large group. I don't want combat to drag on forever.
then, with reincarnated body, thanks for that. I think I'm gonna hit this guy, so I'm gonna swing my sword. It's the same guy.
Okay. All right. 18. All right. Go ahead and attack. Okay, so that's 7 damage. So this guy in front of you, how do you want him to die? He's a little stunned because you just lay down, and he's like about to get another shot at you to send you to the hereafter, into the abyss, into the nether where no man walks, the upside down. He sees you come back up, and he kind of steps back for a little bit. You take your longsword and fill in the blank. Okay, you slice his head off. So as he comes in his stunned, he's just gonna, and you just take the opportunity to just deftly. This is like your whole the samurai animations where you come, you slice through, and he kind of sits there for a second, and you don't see anything happen. But then his head slowly slides off, hits the ground. He's dead. Bing, 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 bing. Yang, yang, yang. All right, so now it is Ogre. This Ogre is looking at Balasar, and he comes back. He's swinging down. He breaks the down with his his great. I can't know why I can't remember great club. I keep thinking club. All right, great club. He swings down on you, and let's see if it hits. Sanctuary kicks in, so it's for a Wisdom saving throw. What's your DC? His Wisdom saving. He rolled a natural 2, and he has a -2 Wisdom modifier. So I'm gonna guess that just straight up doesn't make it. So he has to choose another target, correct?
He has to choose another target or lose the attacker's spell.
Okay, he's gonna swing as he's going for Balasar. It's gonna curve right and go for Clandon. It's either that or Roland. It's either that or Roland. You're lucky you weren't on the ground. So he swings. He does 18. Does that hit? He hits for 13 bludgeoning damage.
Can I cast protection on him?
You may. Wait.
Actually,
When was the last time?
within 5 feet. I haven't
Okay.
used it.
Okay. Well, I was seeing if you used a reaction or if it was not this turn. So
You know.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
So Clandon, you are now unconscious again, unless someone else.
My reaction?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may. That's okay. I'll just re-roll it. His last one was already a disadvantage, but I'm just gonna re-roll it for Great Club. All right, disadvantage 19.
Oh my goodness.
19 and a 24.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll keep the first damage because the second one was 17. The first one was 13. We'll keep that first damage. So he swings, and Clandon, you get up. It's 13. You're let's see. You're at 8 hit points. You're at 0. Just go. You're straight at 0. So you're unconscious again. So he gets back up, and Clandon, he kills this guy, and he's like, "Ha!" And then the ogre comes down again on his other shoulder. Whack! And you just see again the shale under your feet has splintered and shattered to now to the point where this part right here is starting to give away. So you are now unconscious again.
Does unconsciousness count as a
Dead. Just kidding. If you rest for 24 hours or 8 hours, sure, yeah. Your fails have reset, correct. Every time you go unconscious, they're reset. So you're at 0 now. You're 0-0. Balasar, it's your turn. Doral Morlem, you're on deck.
I'm going back after that stupid ogre.
Okay. That roll your attack?
We're just gonna go toe to toe.
Yeah.
That will break the sanctuary, by the way.
It will break your sanctuary, yes.
YOLO.
So as you do it, Benfina, you feel that connection, that sanctuary, that divine presence dissipate as Balasar swings and
It
misses.
did its job once. That's okay.
Doral Morlem.
Having it kill Clandon.
Yep, Benfina, you're on deck. Doral Morlem, it's your turn.
I don't know, but I realized my hit points were not
Miss.
as high as they should be.
How much?
It would have been 6 because he still would have killed me.
Yeah, it's so want to knock you down. But let's make sure to make sure everybody's got your health right. Because when you update it in D&D Beyond, we got to make sure it also updates in Roll20. All right, Doral Morlem, you miss. Any other actions? Zedek, you're on deck. Benvina, go ahead.
I would like to
Rage.
disengage.
Okay, go ahead and use your action to disengage. Where are you going? Okay. And I'm It's a little rock, yeah. It's probably about 3 or 4 feet high, but it's a large boulder.
I would like to disengage to that little boulder.
Okay, go ahead. You can disengage. You see the ogre's preoccupied on the other side. You look at the orc next to you, and you are able to make it away without scathing. Zedek, it is your turn. Aurora, you're after the next 2 orcs.
I'm still on top of this guy's shoulder.
Yep, you're biting him. You're up on your back hind corners, biting into him.
How come the wolf doesn't have a claw move?
I know, right?
I guess I'll just kind of like unlatch and then bite again.
Okay. Okay, that does hit. Roll for damage.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Ooh, 14.
Go giant wolf that I've never seen before, but is helping us.
Okay, you bite into him. This time, as you clamp your jaws down,
You didn't see me transform, did you?
you're just like, ah, there's a giant wolf. So you feel your jaw bite down and lock, and you get a very large amount of purchase. And as you bite and you pull away, his whole trapezius muscle comes tearing away, and as you hear the sickening twang of his all the different muscles and tendons in his neck, just as you pull away, and you get this large chunk of something in your maw.
Oh, shit.
He is looking pretty rough. Any other actions?
At this point, I'm actually going to jump off.
Okay. So he's gonna go and he's gonna run this orc. It's gonna get an attack of opportunity from Zedek, but he is going to pursue Venfina. Go ahead and roll your attack, Zedek. 15 hits. Roll your damage. That's a +5, so 20. Yes, definitely hits. 10 damage. Okay. So he turns, and at this point, you're behind him. He is looking in the direction of Venfina. You tear this piece out of the ogre in your mouth. How do you dispose of this orc with your bite attack? You spit out the chunk. Blech. You killed him, so how are you killing him?
Okay, that Landon was talking. I grabbed him, and then I jumped on top of him, and just tore into this skull.
Okay. So you just grab onto him, and Venfina, as you're retreating, you kind of put your back up against the rock and look over your shoulder, and as you see this orc also in pursuit, and like quick as a flash, you just see the top of his head just disappear. His mouth stays the same expression. He falls to his knees and dumps forward, dead. All right. So next orc, he's gonna attack Dora Morlum. Swing. Comes at you with an 18. Does it hit? This sinks in his great axe with a 7 slashing damage.
Is that?
That's Dora Morlum. And Aurora, it's your turn. Roland, you're on deck. Clandon's after that.
Alright, here we go again.
You got this.
You could always
Okay.
take a step somewhere.
You got this.
Yeah, you have misty stuff. You can use that too.
Hey, nice.
It hits. It hits. Roll for damage. Okay. How would you like him to die, Sarah? I mean, Aurora. Badly. Perfect. So you pull back. Again, you've kind of recollected yourself. You take a deep breath in as the air around you seems to hang for just a moment, and you get this moment of clarity when everything just seems to stop moving. You let go of the arrow, and you feel as the goose feathers that you purchased from Joffrey grace the side of your cheek, weave down as it finds its mark right in the base of the skull of the orc. The orc kind of stumbles forward a little bit and falls to the ground. Defeated, utterly. Chokes. Ooh it, ooh it. Roland. Right? Yeah.
And then promptly fall on my butt.
Eyes at Clandon, and then
Okay.
go clear and do the same thing again. The last 7 of my land to bring it back.
Perfect.
Electrical ray.
Gond hears your prayer.
7 this time. Really quick, a few things. I was just looking up the wolf here because I wanted to see how cool of a druid is. You actually get advantage as long as one of us is within 5 feet of the
Yeah.
and it looks like you've been rolling 2d6, but you actually roll 2d4 for the fight.
Okay. All right.
I am informed Zedek of what he's doing wrong, and then I end my turn.
No, that's okay. All right, perfect. And then we'll all get there together. So we got Ogre. Clandon, you are now conscious. Ogre standing above you. Your shoulders are killing you. What do you do next? Disengage, okay. Remember that where you're standing is starting to become unstable ground. Just as a reminder. Okay, where you're disengaging, go ahead and where you go.
The work that Zedek did has been undone.
What do you mean?
Has it been an hour? It's an hour hold.
Well, I mean, it's that green box is where Zedek smoothed out the ground, right?
You are correct. But where he's slamming, it's just becoming unstable. Like, in other words, it would be the same as if you're familiar with like when tiles break or like the shale rock. You get it's not gonna do a landslide. It's just becoming difficult terrain again in that area.
You just need to stay on the ground and roll.
So you're just like tripping over a bunch of rocks and stuff from the impact of this ogre smashing you into the ground multiple times.
I'm gonna try to go back over to.
Okay.
Right over here. Do I need to do any rolls?
You can't hear Zedek? Uh-oh. Shh, let me turn up the volume. Here you go. Is that any better, Rabbit? I turned them up for you. Okay, so say it one more time for me. You should be fine getting there. You're going downhill. It is a little difficult terrain. Do a dex save for me real quick. Acrobatics specifically, if you prefer. I'll let you choose.
Sorry.
So either dex or acrobatics, whichever you would like.
Saving throw? Or...
Saving throw. Alright, you're totally fine. So the rocks slide a little bit around you. You have a little uneven footing, but you make it to the bottom of the hill there without any incident. Okay?
Sweet. Okay. I'm done.
Alright. Ogre. So at this point, the ogre, he is starting to swing around. He's getting enraged. He's very irritated that he's missing part of his left trapezius. And he is going to take his great club and he's going to swing wildly. Balasar, you're going to be the one he's swinging at just because you're the guy that's in front of him.
Disadvantage.
With disadvantage.
New round, so I can
Perfect.
get my protection again.
He rolls a natural 1. So at this point, he swings and he gets so much that he does a full 360 and like a slide where he just doesn't hit anything, swings in a circle, makes himself a little dizzy. Gets a little tottered. The next attack on him will be with advantage. Balasar.
Well, let's do it then. How do I attack with advantage?
Just roll your attack and roll it twice. Or you can, on the sheet, there's a place where you can toggle between advantage or not. It's up to you. I don't like the toggle because I always forget and I leave it on. So roll again.
That helps.
All right, 21 does hit. How do you want him to die? I don't. Whatever you roll for damage, it's just not gonna matter. He's got 1 hit point. How would you like to dispose of this ogre?
I'm leaving it up to you.
Ooh, I got something good.
Okay, go ahead, Roland.
He's doing this spin and he stumbles forward, and Balasar just takes the butt of his spear, or of the glaive, and puts it into the ground, and the ogre's head just lands on the.
Perfect. So you see promptly the back of your glaive just appears out of the back of his head. A very sickening, nasty splotching sound as it rips and rends the flesh. You see the ogre kind of struggle for a second, its hands clawing desperately at the ground, and it goes limp and dies.
Balasar, then paler.
Right? Vladimir, the failure. All right. I think that's everybody. So we have finished that combat round. Woo woo.
That still only counts as 1.
Perfect. Perfect. All right.
That battle sucked.
That was a rough one.
Okay, I want to go in the cave and explore.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead, Aurora.
Minutes, please.
You're.
It just starts running to the cave.
It's perfect.
We want to like kill it before you go in there. There might be more.
Tiger Lily could use some healing.
You're welcome to try.
So we're free to do stuff.
Yes, you're free to do stuff. Aurora, you can go ahead and start moving towards the cave if you'd like.
How much does it? Or I can probably look up
How much is what?
a healing potion here.
1d4 plus 2, I think, but I would look up to make sure. Is it 1d4 or 2d4?
I think it might be 2d4. Let me check.
Is it, which one is it? Is it a greater healing potion, regular? I assume it's just a healing potion, right?
Healing potion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's 2d4 plus
That's not much.
something.
Healing potion is 2d4 plus
I'll
2.
look it
Yeah, that's the one. 2d4 plus 2.
I don't know where the cave is.
2D. How does it 2d4? You get.
Okay, so the cave's right here.
You add them together.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
That's the cave where the hashy marks are. It gets dark as you go inside.
The entrance was right there, just because that's the open spot.
Yeah. All right, so
Now I'm all scared to go explore the cave. Thanks a lot.
On this,
Is it 2d4 plus 2?
on the ogre. So first, let's get the stuff. Everyone who is investigating the ogre and the surrounding bodies, go ahead and give me an investigation check. For Aurora, you can do a investigation check as well. That's a 9.
Yep.
3.
Same as all night.
Okay. So as you're looking,
Does Tiger Lily need to be healed?
yes,
Yes.
she's unconscious.
So she can take has hit dice, just like a normal character.
Right.
If we take a short rest, she can use those, and then we don't have to use any healing spells.
Correct. So you can either have someone heal her now, or you guys can kind of break camp temporarily for the next hour. 30 minutes.
That ain't a bad idea before we explore the cave.
And at that
Guys,
point,
just use the potion.
so the panther, I would assume it's what is the panther's for a person? One second.
While you're looking that up, I would like to. Wow, natural
If you
20
want.
investigation. There's.
So for everybody who's looking, Aurora,
No on wolf form.
Aurora goes around. You don't find much as far as the cave is concerned. It's just kind of barren. It seems like this is just kind of where they were holed up. That's where they were kind of resting. Everyone else is kind of going through pockets. You're a little distracted by the smell. Not quite able to get there. Zedek, you are looking through, kind of sniffing out all the different things that are in there. As Aurora, you're in there probably, I'd probably say, 30, 40 minutes looking around trying to find stuff till you finally find cumulatively, so I'll just give this to you guys, and you guys can break it up how you want, between what Zedek finds on the ogre and what Aurora finds with a hidden chest inside of the cave itself, it is going to be 750 copper pieces. So who? Let me ask you this: is anybody holding your funds, or are you guys going to split this up?
We can split it up.
Okay, Roland, do you mind writing these out?
Yeah, I'll write down the total amounts
Perfect.
and then I'll divide them up.
750 copper pieces, 180 silver pieces, 62 electrum pieces, 30 gold pieces, and 3 vials of perfume on the ogre. That's what Zedek found with his nose.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about giving me any of the gold. My guy has no relation to money.
Okay. So you,
dividing by 6 then?
Zedek, you find the vials of perfume. The rest of the money is in this treasure chest that Aurora finds in the back of the cave.
I would like to pull a couple of the tusks out of the orc's mouse, by the way. Add to my collection of growing.
Go ahead and
orc
roll
tusks.
me a nature check, please. See how... Alright, so...
Wouldn't it be a strength to pull the teeth out?
it's more, for me, it's less of brute strength, because you could powder them by squeezing them too hard kind of thing. More of a,
Gotcha.
okay, do I understand how to extract something without destroying it?
Gotcha.
With the nature check, of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get about 4 of their tusks. The rest of them are pretty broken and stuff from the battles. You don't get a huge amount from them. You get about four tusks from the orcs.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've got a total of 125 copper for everybody, but Zedek. We're just dividing by 6 because Zedek said he didn't need any.
Okay.
Correct.
And then we've got 30 silver pieces for everybody, and pieces, and then we've got a few left over, which we'll decide on later, and then 5 gold pieces each. However we want to divide it up. We've got 2 electrum pieces left, which they're basically like a halfway between silver and gold pieces for anybody who doesn't know what electrum is.
Okay.
Then we've
Who's
got
in need of money?
yeah, we've got the 3 vials of
Balasar, can you do a history check for me?
Of course.
Just
All right.
keep that extra rolling for healing me up.
Hey,
No problem.
Perfect. So,
I made it.
Balasar, as you're looking at these different things, you see and you recognize some of the war markings on these guys, the chieftains that they kind of fight under. The one of them you recognize is Brughor Axebiter. He is an orc that you know he has been from your travels as a barbarian. He's kind of in these parts a little bit of a legend as far as his fighting prowess and his agitation. The larger ogre, you don't really recognize anything from where he comes from, but it's as far as from where he comes, but you can tell that these guys were banding together. They weren't necessarily part of the same tribe. Okay. All right. So before we get any further, let's make sure that 1,250 XP is divided equally.
1,250.
That is correct.
Let me divide that. That's 107. Are we rounding up or down?
I'll just round up for experience. I'll round down for everything else, but
29 XP.
I give you guys the benefit.
How much?
How much?
179.
Yep. And for you guys defeating all of them and being able to get it in there, go ahead and each person go ahead and add an additional 150 XP.
150?
Yep, 150. So total, that's going to be 200, 300, and
320.
yeah, 329.
Alright, let's do one more adventure to get us this 700 XP.
Piece of cake. Piece of cake. So, going with this, I'm going to all of the different troubles that you guys have gone through. you've gathered your things. Do you guys want to take a short break before you head out, or are you going to chill?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Short rest would be nice.
All right.
Also, so how do we want to divide up the other? We got 2 electrum pieces and those 3 vials of perfume. I say that we give the electrum pieces to the man who slayed the ogre. In this case.
Not me.
What do you think, Balasar?
Sounds good to me.
Do I sniff anything specifically out from the vials?
Um,
Other than they're just perfume?
Other than perfume, no. They just seem to be very nice smelling. It's very uncharacteristic for a very large, smelly ogre to be carrying perfume. It's really odd. But as far as that, sniffing around, nothing. There's nothing as far as no identifying marks. It just seems to be perfume.
Okay.
Okay. All right. From there, everybody go ahead and do your short rest. Roll. You guys make it through successfully without incident.
Does that reset our XP full?
Your X people.
It allows you to spend hit dice.
That
So
is
you can
correct.
spend hit dice up to your level and then roll that dice.
Yep. And since it's a new day, you should have pretty much all of them.
I'm full health. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
Came out of it really good.
If you're
I'm trying to
missing
remember.
health, you can look at your
Do
sheet.
you just roll a 1d10?
It depends on the class. So on your class, if you look at your sheet, let me open it up.
You
can
can
hit your hit die.
Yeah,
on-
there's the hit die button.
Yeah, your hit dice. Yeah, just click on it. Right below temporary hit points. And next to the, I guess, the success and failure. So if you just click on the name hit dice, it should just roll for you. Perfect. And you can roll up to, so you've used one, so you would, you increase however many you use. If you want to roll, you can roll up to 3 if you want.
Up to 3.
Correct. So once you hit level 4, you have up to 4.
Yay, full health.
Okay. Everybody good?
Okay, I spent all 3 of my hit dice as well, and I just rolled them off camera, but I got 17 hit points total out of it.
Okay, perfect. So everybody, you have your health.
So those hit die, do they recover with a long rest or something?
Correct. Long rest, you'll
Got it.
get those back.
I'm
So-
getting it.
One question I had:
Uh-huh.
Do I take any of the damage from my feral form, my wild form, when I revert back?
No, when you revert back, it's just your hit point pool. As far as I understand, the beast mode is that when you go into it, if you were to fall out of an airplane and hit the ground, your beast form would soak up all of that damage and then go back to you. But like, let's say you took 100 damage in that form, then that doesn't carry over to your physical form. It's in your whatever form you were in. It'll stay there.
Okay.
When you revert to your normal form, you return to the number of hit points you had before you transformed. However,
Correct.
if you revert as a result of dropping to 0 hit points, any excess damage carries
It
over
does
to your
carry
normal
over.
form.
Yep.
What do I
Airplane would
do
not
with
stop.
Tiger
Yeah,
Lily?
falling out of an airplane, I would die.
So
because-
did somebody heal Tiger Lily?
No, but she can spend.
Okay, so you can roll hit dice. So go ahead and roll the same dice you have, because I'm not seeing any rules here for companions.
So it is.
Yeah, I was
let's
gonna-
see here.
I was gonna transform and go over and heal if they weren't gonna do that. So either way. No, nice.
So here's
Hit dice is a -1.
So she has D8s for hit dice, actually.
is it?
Yeah, so she got 3 D8 that she can spend on.
Oh, you're right.
Well, they're D10, but
I s-
with a -1 modifier.
Okay. So you're. What is the -1 for?
-1 modifier.
Is that Constitution? Oh, Constitution. Got it. Okay, yeah. So you're right. So I see the 3d8 on the Panthers thing. So go ahead and
Yeah, so
roll.
the Panther can spend any number of those each day.
So roll the Panther. The Panther, if you want to roll the d8, and then that's what you can add to Tiger Lily during the short rest.
And you can do that up to 3
That's
times if you
6.
want.
So she's about half, just under half. She is at full health now. She's at the...
Well, she's a couple points down. But...
Oh, you're right. That's 11. She's 13 total hit points.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to use another one, or she can be good as is. It's up to you.
Just use them all.
Gotta catch them all. She's full health now.
You can't blow up for overhealing, right?
Correct. There's not in this edition. All right, everybody good? And Zedek, did you say you're reverted, or are you still in your form?
I reverted.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and dispose of these fools. You guys go ahead and head back up north. I assume, to talk with the gentleman in the tent. And for brevity, he thanks you for helping as far as, being able to dispose of these nuisance to the south. And he still is agitated that you deposed of his workforce, and he's having to do a lot of stuff himself now. But he seems genuinely grateful.
There's a whole bunch of orcs that he can turn into
and
zombies.
a big old ogre.
Ogre, you say? He seems very excited at the prospect. You don't mind if I commandeer them?
Just don't use them for evil.
Fair enough. And he hustles at this point out of the tent. And he says, remember, if you get that from Agatha, please let me know. And then he disappears in the distance, hobbling off to the south with a renewed vigor in his step.
Much faster than you would expect.
Yes.
So the guy that we're here to tracking down, we don't have any information on him yet, right?
Gundren Rockseeker, you don't have any concrete information of where he lives. You have heard of that it's somewhere here in this vicinity, obviously. And you're trying to pinpoint where that might be. So by coming out here and kind of getting rid of these orcs, you've done some kind of recon to find different places, but you have not come across anything specific yet. No one seems to have information on this elusive Cragmaw castle.
Well, I think if anybody would have information on that castle, it would be Agatha, wouldn't it? She's kind of this old ghost.
You remember as well when you talked with the wizard, she typically will only answer one question from people. She's very testy. So, choose wisely.
And we've done enough for the wizard. Let's ask her about Cragmaw Castle. Anybody else disagree? Agree?
Do we know where she is?
This is a conversation you guys are having. He mentioned last time when you guys, there was a town that was ruined nearby. That years past, barbarians came through and ravaged, and it was somewhere to the north of that town. But it's easy to find. If you head, he says, if you head east on the Tribor Trail, you'll run right into it. So that's, if you wanted to go that way, yes, that's the direction you would know where you're going as a character.
Okay. And so
I'm gonna take the lead this time.
Yep.
As we're heading east, because it seems like a pretty easy trail to follow, so I don't have to worry about relying on trackers or anything like that.
Okay. What's everybody else?
Hey, my screen's showing a picture of just a forest, something like that.
Yep, that's what it should be.
Oh, okay.
We're doing an imagination time on a trail.
Ooh.
Imagination.
Just my imagination. Running away.
Okay. So you guys are walking. So we've got our priest or paladin of Gond in the front, Roland. What else? What's the pecking order? You're marching.
I'll take second line.
Okay,
just
take
like
Midgard.
I was doing before.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't do too well in the front of the pack this last time, so I'm gonna come up in the rear.
Okay, so you'll take
I'll
her.
hang out with Clandon.
Okay.
But then we get attacked by the rear.
That's why I'm hanging out with Clandon. Gotta keep him alive, keep him off the ground.
Having a little bit of a rough day today. All right, cool.
We don't need any more imprints of Clandon in the ground.
Benfina and Aurora.
That imprint's gonna be there forever.
Right. Benfina and Aurora, are you guys mid-guard? Forward guard? Rear guard?
Where forever.
Okay.
It's gonna suck anyways.
No, it won't. You can watch Steve die.
Die anyways.
You can watch Steve. Hey, at least you didn't die. Steve died twice.
You're gonna die twice.
So
Hey, unconscious, not dead.
Only mostly dead.
it's dead, twice removed. All right, so
God, dead.
I'm not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet. Honestly, you'll be dead in a minute, though.
Only a flash round.
All right,
Feeling better.
so you guys are walking along. As you traverse. Oh dang it! So nothing happens. Rush. Darn.
No attack from the back.
No attack from the back. No giant ogre. No dragon that comes and eats
Attack from the
everyone.
back, my next hit single, by the way.
Bring on another topic. Show him what,
Right?
what's what.
Shoot a sandwich in his mouth, make him die. So you guys are walking along the hillside again. You've got the very rocky to the south of you as you're walking. You still have that very kind of arid desert, red rock, shale, sandstone type environment, and to your left is the Neverwinter Wood. It very quickly, as you look into it, you do see that it gets very misty and murky very quickly. It's definitely a place that if you don't watch your step, you could probably lose your way. So you guys are walking along the road, no problems. You come down. Did you say my name? Oh, sorry. I thought Becca said something to me. So, where did it go? One second. All right. So, as you're walking, you guys see, you start to notice different outcroppings of rocks and things that they're not natural. And on closer inspection, you start to notice that these are old buildings. That the road itself still leads through, and still seems to be well traveled, but the surrounding area is just that of ruin. You have trees that are growing in the middle of people's what would have been houses at the time. You see small eyes of different creatures, just kind of watching you curiously as you pass through this particular town. And
So once we get to about the center of town, which is where she was kind of north of this town, right?
Correct, that is correct.
So I'm going to go ahead and use my divine sense, which lets me see if there's any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that's not behind total cover.
All right, you go ahead and you
Just
cast
trying
it.
to get a feel of where she is.
You cast it, and you feel that she is to the north from where you guys are standing. And as you guys kind of move through this town, you look around, you find different kind of landmarks and stuff, and finally you see a small trailhead that leads into this misty, murky, winding path that goes into the woods. And you, Roland, with your divine sense, do sense that there is a great presence of a undead personage,
But
singular,
not necessarily
to the
coming
north.
across as evil.
No, it seems pretty mute. I mean, typically you would expect with a banshee that you would feel a level of malevolence. This one seems to put off a level of self-preservation rather than evil kind of feeling.
Okay. All right. Well, with my eyes glowing that kind of sparking blue, that is the natural ambience of my god, I'm going to start heading north down that trail. I'm pretty confident.
Okay. So as you guys are walking, and you see this, you see a home. There's lots of different places. As you're kind of exiting, you see off to the side a home that is sheltered within a dome of woven branches. It's sparsely furnished with chests and shelves and table. All seem to be upturned or have been long since looted. Each of them have what seems to be the shadow of elven craft, something that has been there for a very long time. And shortly into your walk into the woods, you guys feel the area around you become very cold. You start to see your breath. The hairs on the back of your neck begin to raise. You feel Go ahead.
Sorry. At this point, I'm going to turn back to the group and I'm going to call out Venfina. I think you may be the best person to speak with the Banshee.
Okay. Do you what? Not concede. What's the word? Do you acquiesce, Benfina?
Do we see the entryway, or we just see the
What you see right now is you're not going into a house. The house was just something you were walking past as you're going through the woods. You're now looking into something very similar to what you're seeing in this image. It's a winding path. The mist around you is very cold. You start to see your breath. It's unnaturally cold in this area.
Okay. I'd like to cast Divine Sense, so I have a better guide.
Okay. So with you and Roland, between the two of you, you both sense that she is just ahead. She seems to be moving, but not in a very rapid pace, but she seems to be moving your direction.
Okay, I'd also like to cast Emissary of Peace.
Okay.
On my divinity.
Okay, go ahead. So as you do so, each of you, not just Benfina, but there was already a chill in the air, but now you feel a very powerful feeling of dread. It grips you. You see before you a very cold light, very slowly bobbing and flickering in the air, and it quickly just becomes this form of a female elf floating just inches above the ground, with her hair and her robes in this spectral wind that just unnaturally is moving, very, very hypnotically in the way that she moves. And she may have been beautiful at one time, but she wears a very hateful expression that twists her features. She has this very twisted thing now, and she says, "Foolish mortals, what do you want here? Do you know it is death to seek me out?"
And just as a refresher, we want to know where the castle of Cragmore is.
Yes.
Correct?
That is correct.
Huh? Sophia, come here. I'll get her. Okay, 1 second. Baby troubles. Sophia.
A Banshee's wail has nothing on baby troubles.
Well, the Banshee's will is based off of baby's troubles.
No better way to set the mood with a crying baby.
Cry, baby, cry.
Other sigh.
Well, what brings you here, mortals?
Oh.
Good old Firefly.
Yeah.
I found, so a few years back on Black Friday, I found the entire Firefly series on Blu-ray for $3 at Best Buy. Plus, it has 2 episodes that were never before aired.
Those are good.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just like $3, mine.
So, Vemfina, do you want to take point on this one since you got
Yeah, I will. I was thinking about casting Sanctuary as well.
I think if we talk with her, we might not have to worry about her attacking us.
Is there an image of her?
Anything.
No, this is the image in your mind. I was gonna paint one, but I just didn't make enough time to do it.
Slacker.
Yeah, I know. But you see, again, she's an elven woman with very beautiful, slender features, but her face is just twisted into just this darkened face that's full of malice and just regret and remorse and just hate. And you see from her black, the whites of her eyes are actually black, and all you can see is this thin, red, piercing light from where her iris would be.
There you go.
And as she speaks, her mouth, as she opens it, it's just unnaturally dark and just like it is as deep as the darkest night you've ever seen.
Okay. I say
Yes.
what? Oh, you're looking at
Just the picture.
Yes. All right. We have come to seek you because we know
you have such great wisdom from your years and experience in this area.
Yes.
And remind me, how do people become banshees?
Usually, it's a traumatic experience that.
So like something happened to her here in this area, right?
So Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter.
Gotcha.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Mhm.
Can I know more about her history? How long she's maybe been here?
Go ahead and roll a history check.
I'd like to also roll the history check if you don't mind.
Anyone who would like to? More than welcome. You guys like the music for this one?
I do.
I tried to make it as creepy as possible. All right, so
It's
17, 9.
creepy cute though.
Venfina. I don't want to go like evil. I just want to be creepy. And you hear the crying baby in the song? It's totally
My party
suitable.
one time, I played 2 hours of maddening whispers when they were in like a nightmare realm.
That would drive you crazy. So
It drove me crazy.
Dormorlum, you're like, yep, she's a banshee. She's here. Venfina, you've heard of small wives' tales and stuff, but you don't know anything concrete about it. Just the idea of this general area of watch out. If you ever go through that town, that you could be overcome by evil spirits or something. So not a whole lot. Roland, you recall that again from this particular area, this town that was founded years and years and years ago, way before Mount Hotnow, or Hotnow? I'm pretty sure it's Hotnow. The volcano nearby by Neverwinter had ravaged this area. Even before that this town once stood as a small merchant town that people would go through to get to Phandalin. It was prosperous. There's a lot of different people, and she seems to have been one of the denizens of this town before a barbarian horde you read in your texts, or at some point when you're in your studies as a paladin, had heard that this town was ravaged, that a herd of barbarians came through and just completely they slaughtered entire families. They didn't take any survivors, and anyone that they found, that it was just your typical ravager. They would rape, kill, and sometimes eat their prey. It was just a very bloody, gory experience.
And that was even before the volcano erupted.
Before.
Here in Neverwinter.
Yep.
Long time ago then. She's been here for a while.
Yes, she as far as you can discern, she's quite ancient.
Okay, so I'll whisper that to Venfina after she finishes. Just let her know that this is an ancient spirit and be very cautious.
Okay. We understand that you've been here a long time, and I'm sure that you enjoy this area to be more peaceful. We are seeking to keep this area peaceful as well, and we have a friend that has been taken by barbaric orcs and creatures that are just causing this area much strife. We've come to seek more knowledge from you, and we've been guided to you. I know by my deity, I've been blessed to come on this path to find you, to hopefully help those that have been taken advantage by these malicious creatures in this area.
Okay, go ahead and roll a persuasion check for me with advantage. Okay. With advantage, so one more time.
And she gets a +5.
And you have a
initiative.
+5. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So she looks at you, and she gives this very twisted smile in cold amusement. Very well, she says. I know you seek many things. Ask me one question, and you shall have an answer. You hear her just floating again, almost like she's if you guys have seen the new Pirates of the Caribbean, that just astral floating, her hair, everything just kind of like tentacles or like a spider, just slowly and meticulously weaving its web.
Before I ask our question, I feel as though my deity has brought me on this path to seek redemption for this area. Is there something that you seek for this area that you have been striving to achieve in all your years?
Does that count as our one question?
That's a question.
Is that your question?
No. Well, I thought we were still having a conversation, so.
Speak quickly. My patience grows thin.
We seek to know where Cragmar Castle is, so that we can save our friend.
Okay, so she gets a little bit look of puzzlement, but then that cold look of amusement returns to her face. The place that you seek, Cragmar, has been known by many names. Years and ages ago, it was built. What you seek is very near. It is far, but it is within your grasp to find. If you truly wish to find Cragmar, I suggest that you head back to the west on the Tribor Trail. As you do so, pay careful attention, for the Waystones will show you the way. Is there anything else?
Wow, that music just went perfectly with that answer.
Does what she's telling us make sense?
From
As
your
we're navigating this area?
I'll show you a map so you guys are familiar with the area you're in. Roland, I might need to drop you on here 1 sec. No, you're on there. Okay. All right, so where you guys are at, once it finishes loading, I'm going to reveal areas. So from where you guys are at, you guys are up here. You guys see kind of where I'm opening up the top? Yes, no?
Yeah, we're seeing the old well. And
Okay. So the hideout right here that you guys, that's where that's the cave that you guys went in, killed all the guys, saved. You what? You don't see anything?
I see it. It's right in the...
Aurora doesn't see anything?
Yeah, you gotta kind of scroll down.
This hideout?
Yes, Cragmar Hideout. That was the very first one that when you guys were on the highway, you encountered those goblins about right here on your way to Phandalin, right? That hideout's where you guys saved Sildar. You guys went to the north on the Tribor Trail, all the way to the Old Owl Well right here in these hills. And then Coneyberry's right here. And then where you guys went just now to Wyvern Tor was right here that was like just on the peaks of the mountain. It's up by the Old Owl Well. So you guys right now are at Agatha's lair. Up here.
Coneyberry.
Coneyberry is that town that you walked through that was ruined.
Ah, gotcha.
So it's the one that's right on the Tribor Trail. Agatha's, and from your recollection and from what you know, she's telling you to come back down the Tribor Trail, back towards Phandalin, and somewhere between Phandalin and Agatha's lair, there should be some waystones, which were typically used for like highway markers or things like that a long time ago.
Okay, so it makes sense to us.
Yes, that would make sense too. Now back to the creepy music.
I think we should leave now.
If that is all, leave me now. As you hear kind of a very saddening sound to her voice, the wailing of a banshee.
Well, I wanted to ask her if there's anything we can do for her.
There is nothing. I am bound to this place as it is to me. Now go.
I'm shifting in my feet. I'm nervous, but I can't help myself. I approach her and kneel.
Oh no.
And I even, pull out
Are you my father? No.
Several gold pieces, and say Agatha, oh wise and beautiful Agatha, I beg that you answer my question.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage because you dropped some stuff.
Tribute.
Some tribute slash you stroked her ego.
What am I?
Persuasion?
Again? Persuasion?
Yep.
It's not my strong suit.
Okay, 17. This could get interesting. She looks at the coin. She looks at you. She says, I have no use for your gold. But answer your question, or ask your question. And she's looking at you, and she kind of tilts her head slightly. This point, her eyes are narrowing a little bit. She's not smiling. She's not grimacing. She looks very pensive, almost like she's looking into you.
I feel it. I say to Agatha, I've been searching for my father. My mother is human, as I'm sure you can tell, and my father is elvish. I know nothing about him except that he is very tall, long silver hair, and has a scar across his face. And I hope, with your vast knowledge and wisdom, you might have known some detail of him.
Okay. She looks at you for a moment. She arches an eyebrow a little bit.
And sorry,
Good.
I also, and if this helps, I pull my shirt off and show her the tattoo on my back.
And if this helps, I rip off my shirt.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so she initially
This was a gift left by my father.
She looked very missive, and upon looking at the tattoo on your back and the different sigils and markings, her eyes widen a little bit, and she says, "This is very old magic. Came by this how?"
The one time that I met my father when I was very young, he left this with me before he left. It's the only gift I have from him. It's my inheritance. But I know not what it is or what it means.
She said, and she looks to you, and I have seen this before. Many thousands of years ago. A man came to our town wearing that same mark, only to have days later, our town was ravaged by barbarians.
Oh boy.
Do you know anything else about this man?
I have not seen it since that time. He seemed to have silver hair, but that is all I remember. I'll tell you this, that those that I've seen and heard of with these marks, they adrift from place to place like shadows. Sometimes people call them harbingers, whether that be for good or for evil. That is in the eye of the beholder. I wish I had more for you.
Thank you,
No.
wise Agatha.
Now go. And with this,
I quickly
you hear like this nails on a chalkboard screech as she just into non-existence. The air around you still just cold. The hairs on the back of your neck are still just on edge. Tiger Lily is backing away with her eyes like wide, and the slits of her eyes just completely just not in total fear, but definitely seeing this as a place where you should tread lightly.
Yeah, let's go.
Second that. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
All right. So, guys, I'm out. Peace. So you guys go back to. I'm going to put you back on the Sword Coast map just because that's easier. You you guys can see where you're at. So you guys are in Agatha's lair. You're heading back south. You're now on the Tribor Trail near Coinberry, just outside of town. What would you like to do?
Can I just ask if can we decide our next move and then maybe pause there for this round?
Yep. So before we do, I forget the XP. Let's go ahead and divide. Let's see. That's going to be about 50 XP per person. And then Clandon and Venfina, I'm going to give you guys another extra 50 XP for roleplay. And inspiration. So you both can mark off that you have an inspiration, which next time you roll your dice, you can use to either gain advantage or nullify disadvantage on a roll. Singular.
Sweet.
Yeah, I thought Vamfina's use of barbaric when talking about the orcs was brilliant for talking with Agatha. So good job there.
Yeah, bravo.
Well done.
That's why I got advantage on that roll for
Yeah.
that tie-in.
I figured it was that one word.
Yep. Otherwise, it was going to be just normal. And if it was normal, you wouldn't have made that, and she would have just gone puff. All right. So.
I found out a little info about my father.
Yeah.
And he's not a tree.
He's not a tree.
She saw him a couple thousand years ago.
Yeah.
Shut up. I did love that tree.
You never know.
Hey.
Elves live a very long time. That could have been like your great grandpa or your grandpa. You never know.
That's a good point.
Ooh, he could be like that tree in Pocahontas.
Quay, Noctula, you will understand. Come to me, child.
So I think
All right.
that we should just go to the castle and try and find your the contact.
Yeah, it's cool.
To you guys. You guys can go to Phandalin. You can go to the Cragmaw Castle. You can go wherever you'd like.
There was something else on Triboard. I got a list of the we have the Ruins of Thunder Tree or Cragmaw Castle is what we have.
Yep. So the Ruins of Thunder Tree, it was you and someone else. You were in the. Was it you and Balasar? Or who was in the? Someone was in the inn when you found out about it.
Might have been Balasar with me.
So I think you and Balasar know about it. It was the guy who was outside of town at the Eldermath, the farm. He mentioned of a druid and the Ruins of Thunder Tree, that there was some kind of things going on, that there's a shadow that wasn't normally there at Thunder Tree. And then the Cragmaw Castle obviously is one that's you guys are looking for to find.
So
What's his bucket?
Thunder Tree definitely feels like a side quest, while Cragmaw is our main quest.
And I think Cragmar is more time sensitive, so they don't dispose of our person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's do it.
Because orcs get really, yeah. It doesn't take a lot to push them to kill.
Bro.
I think either way we should at least spend one night to do a long rest, and that way before we start exploring again we can rest up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You guys want to do it on the highway, or are you doing
Camp
it
along
in a bed at the Phandalin? What are you doing?
I don't think we should go all the way to Phandalin.
No.
No,
And I think we
camping.
can do a little camp out.
All right, I'll tell you what. So when your guys are walking, as you're going along, you guys are kind of letting the words of Agatha go through your mind. Everybody do a quick perception check for me. Perception. And we'll see if anybody notices things while you're walking.
Oh,
All right. So Dormorlam and Roland, both of you. Dormorlam, you're still hyped up on battle and like having just seen a banshee and kind of pooping your pants. Roland, you're still a little bit fatigued from the battle earlier, so it's it's weighing on your mind. Zedek, Venfina, and Aurora. And
gonna
Clandon.
reroll
You're gonna reroll what?
without the advantage.
I just take the one on the left if you do
Okay.
advantage.
That's fine.
So the all the rest of you, as you're walking along, you see on the actual road itself. You remember that this road is lower than the hills surrounding it, so it's normally a highway would be a little higher or more visible or what have you. This is like a low way, I guess. So it's this beaten path. You got the hills on either side, but as you're going along, you see this piercing black obsidian looking obelisk that is just barely peeking out of one of the hills to the north as you're walking along. So as you stop, you see what's going on. You see this and you recognize, you uncovered a little bit. Dor Morlum, being a dwarf, recognized this as one of the old waystones. It has writing on it that let's see, who knows? Let's see, this I think would be in Elvish. So I think we've got 3 people to read Elvish, right? So you see some names that are broken off, but you do see that there are some sigils that seem to read castle. And as far as the rest of it, you can't make it out because it's kind of broken and just worn down with the erosion from the years. But you're able to pull some of the dirt away from it and read that, so you see it. You guys, it's now waning into 7 or 8 o'clock at night. You guys make camp, and that's what we're picking up next time. Okay.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
That's fun, guys.
Good work.
Do we get a long rest, or are we doing that next time?
Well, let's go ahead and pick up on the long rests next time, so that way, just in case something happens while you're sleeping, we don't have to take care of it now.
That way Preston can think about something happening.
Let's see, a zombie ogre and a very angry mage come barreling out of the woods. Just kidding.
And they go straight for me.
Clandon's sleeping, so he takes quadruple damage and turns into jelly. Have you guys watched Harmon Quest?
Parts.
Almost like the last couple episodes.
Is that the one where they do like D&D, but then they animate it?
Yeah, it's like super short episodes, super slapstick.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like, I would say it's Whose Line Is It Anyway meets D&D, is how I feel like the tone it sets. So it's pretty funny. Anyway, the last one, I won't ruin it for anybody, but jelly would be an appropriate description. So cool. Well, good job, everybody. Next time we've got a very large amount of stuff that you guys can see and explore and do. So be excited. And
when is next time?
that's a great question. Let's find out. So it's not next Saturday. That is Rebecca's birthday. So we will be preoccupied. Yeah. We might be able to do it. Is there anything on the 26th? It depends on if we have our normal D&D on the 26th. So it's possible that might be an open night. If Corey doesn't want to DM that night. Bonefish, that is.
I do.
Good.
I do like the notifications and stuff on Discord. Keep that updated of when things are.
Okay. I'll try and put it on Discord, Facebook, and on Roll20. So if one fails, then the other should have it. Hopefully.
Yeah, because then otherwise we get. I was gonna say the next date's like the 2nd or 3rd of February.
Correct. Did we have something on the 3rd, Becca? Yeah, I think so. It's either going to be the 26th, the 2nd, or the 3rd. The further out we get, the more I'm not sure when Corey's going to start up the Friday group again. So he's taking a hiatus for a little bit while he gets some things in order. As far as like story and what he wants to do with it. Excuse me. So let's try. Do you guys want to do the 26th? Or do you want to wait until the week after?
26 should be available.
It's next Friday.
Yep, that's next Friday. So if the next Friday works for everybody, then we can plan on the 26th.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah.
All right. It has been written, so let it be done. I'll put it on all those different places. So good job, guys. Thanks for coming. And if you, I'm gonna tinker with some of those built-in Roll20 modifiers for like the divine, what is it, that divine smite or whatever you were trying to do earlier, and some of the other ones, so we can try and fix some of these quirks that Roll20 has. So, yeah, we will catch you guys.
We may need to start making alternate avatars for my forms that actually have all the stuff built into them.
DC. We got to make those avatars the as well as the modifiers, because I've read somewhere that you can do it, but I don't know if I have to use a special API to do it, or we can figure it out. It won't be too bad.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, I'll just create a second token that's also you, and you can just use it as a second sheet, and it'll be fine. So,
okay.
Cool, guys. All right, catch you next time.
Good game, thanks.
All right, guys, it's been good.
All right.